All this dirt I never let my mama know. Hit a lick of brick is like a pot of gold. Your girl wants to meet me. Your man's a snitch, they got him on PC. My son is in GP. Playing some cards or watching some TV.
Hey yo, I told y'all before, my bro Dub HE out of Baltimore spit that fire. You heard? Go follow him on Instagram and tell him Z-Man Suicide Polo with the Ski Man sent you.
Hey yo, LAZ, I done told y'all before, they calling this book the Hood Game of Thrones, you heard? It's called The Blood Sagas by Avery Brown. Shout out to the bro, Brooklyn in the building. The bro got major people reading this book and major things about to take place with this book. Make sure you on the right side of history, you heard? LAZ.
Hey yo, LAZ, make sure you check my bro Shrine B out of Jersey, you heard? Follow him on that gram. And go check them bangers out at repyourset.net, you heard? Also check that album from me and Shrine B, Interstate Heavyweights, full album on YouTube.
LAZ, I'm in here with the Brooklyn legend, Black Knowledge. You heard?
Peace, homie.
The big homie of the big homies. And we got an exclusive story for you. Now, I'm sure a lot of y'all dudes saw my interview with Dehaven, where Dehaven spoke about, you know, dudes putting a gun to his head over Jay-Z. And he didn't really go into too many details about that situation. But the guard Black Knowledge got all the details behind that situation, man. And he gonna bless us with this story, you heard? Genpop gang, we in the building. Make sure y'all leave about 100 comments. Make sure y'all share this to Facebook and get this algorithm nice and chunky magunky, as my bro Saquon would say. But yo, bro, yeah, man. So, you said back in the days. Now, for the record, this is before Jay-Z was the superstar that we know as Hove, you heard? And back in the days, you said it was a little situation over a polo coat and a chain, man. Let us know what took place that particular time, man, in Bed-Stuy Brooklyn.
So, to really, you know what I mean, catch the backdrop of that, homie, we got to go all the way back, right? So we're going to go back to like the mid 80s. I mean, the tail part of the early, going up into the mid 80s, right? Like 83, 84, 85, 86, around that time. And so this was before he was even referred to as Jay-Z. In the hood, they just knew him as Sean, right? I guess that was his government name, Sean Carter, whatever. So dudes just knew him as Sean. I didn't personally know him. I seen him around the hood a couple times or whatever, but he used to hang around dudes that I was fucking with from Marcy at the time, which was Tah-Tah them, right? So that was Tah-Tah's T-Lo little brother. I talked about Tah-Tah, I talked about T-Lo, and numerous joints that I did. So before we even get like deep up into the situation and all that and how that joint played out, it's a lot of intricate like little tangibles that went along with that situation. So like I said, we're gonna start back, right? So to start it back, we got to give the like a introduction to the characters that were involved in this whole play and how these dudes interacted and intertwined with one another, right? So now for me, I got to go back as far as junior high school days. So in the junior high school days, when I was playing ball, I used to hang out with a dude from Marcy. His name was Todd, right? Todd went to junior high school with me, whatever. We played ball, you know what I mean? We was both coming up and coming in ball, kind of nice or whatever. He used to bring me down to Marcy to play ball with him and his projects. I used to bring him up to Sumner to play ball with me in Sumner. So now, back then, I said his name was Todd. But as years went on and he became affiliated with, I guess, Jay-Z and all them, he became Sauce Money. So I'm referring to Sauce Money. So Sauce Money from Marcy, that was my man, right? So me and Sauce Money was cool. Jazo, which was the other dude, I guess Jazo was the one that put Hove on. Jazo was a dude that used to come to my projects because he was messing with this little broad and my projects on the other side of my projects and shit. So back in them early junior high school days, going into the early part of the high school days, Jazo, would, you know what I mean, was coming up in the hood, so we kind of knew each other from the girls or whatever, and the nods or whatever. He was a cool dude, whatever. Sauce, that was my Todd Sauce, that was my man. We played ball together, whatever. So now, I mentioned, you know, Tah-Tah and all of these other dudes, and also Dehaven. Can't forget Dehaven. Dehaven was from my projects, right? So we grew up together. Like Dehaven was on the Myrtle Avenue side, I'm on the Park Avenue side. So he was up the hill, I'm down the hill. So Dehaven is from the projects, right? So we know each other coming up from the projects. So now you got Dehaven from my projects, me from the projects. You got Sauce Money, Tar from down in Marcy. You got Tah-Tah, and then you got you know, Jay-Z, Sean, or whatever. So I never really saw the dude. I never really saw him with Tah-Tah, nothing like that, right? I didn't find out about him until after the incident took place, and part himself. And then after, when he started, you know, blowing up during his musical career, I kind of, you know, remembered him from the little incident. So like I was saying, I told you in several of our stories that we did on the Sumner series that some of the dudes was affiliated with the Marcy dudes, right? We was fucking with them dudes heavy. They was, you know, they had a nice little clique of dudes, like we had a nice little clique of dudes, and we formulated a little team. We got together. We was fucking with each other, right?
Also, for people who are not familiar with Bed-Stuy Brooklyn, Sumner, Tompkins, and Marcy is very close to each other. It's like 3 projects back to back. So, you know, it'd be a lot of intermingling. But yeah.
Yeah, that's a fact. Sumner projects, Tompkins projects, Marcy projects. Literally, we're across the street from each other. It's just from Tompkins to Marcy is like a longer city block, right? But from Sumner to Tompkins is just a regular street block crossing. Then from Tompkins to Marcy, a regular longer block. But anyway, as the story goes, you know, that's the backdrop. The backdrop, we was kids, whatever, in junior high school, playing ball, whatever. So now, you know, we as we progressing and getting older and playing the street games, we used to be down in Marcy regularly, right? The Sumner dudes, my team of dudes, as you may have recalled, was Hash, Weebo, H, Hunt, my brother Poise, Tim, Scotty, you know what I mean? And then Knowledge B, Joe, and all them, when they came into the fold. And now remember, this is an important aspect of it. Remember, I told you before, Knowledge B didn't like Marcy dudes. And I told you I had to kind of like dead that little situation or whatever little beef that them dudes had.
Why he didn't like Marcy dudes again? For those who not familiar, make sure you go watch the Sumner series. Where me and Black Knowledge already put in 11 episodes. So you could get a little bit more familiar with the people that he's speaking about. But you said why he didn't like Marcy?
Well, I mean, looking back at it, right, in hindsight, the only thing I could think of is that we was all young, up and coming wild dudes, right? So Sumner and Tompkins is a real close proximity as opposed to Marcy. So for whatever reason, I don't even know, whatever reason, Knowledge B didn't like them Marcy dudes. He specifically didn't like the dudes from Marcy that we was fucking with, which was T-Lo and Love and Huck and Tree and Gate and all them dudes and Half, and all them dudes and Bum Bum and Big Slop and Lil Slop. He just, I don't know. So, right, we just had started really kind of like rocking with Knowledge B. So I don't know what all of his little nuances were with particular dudes, but he didn't like them dudes. And I remember telling you that one time T-Lo was coming up to the projects to check us or whatever, and he never made it. So we went down to see them to figure out, like, you know what I mean, what's up, homie? You know, what happened? And then he, you know, we pulled off to the side. He told me, he's like, yo, man, I came up to you, you know, coming up to your projects to see you. And before we got to your project, we walking through Tompkins, through the lane, and this dude approached us or whatever, and on some real funny style shit. I'm like, who? And then he told me, he's like, yo, this dude, they call him Knowledge B or whatever. Knowledge Born, Knowledge B. And I was like, oh, all right. I'm like, all right, I'm affiliated with something. I know who he is. What was the problem? He was like, he didn't even know. This is what T-Lo told me. He didn't even know what the problem was. I guess they might have had some beefs back in, I don't know, 33 days, junior high school days, whatever. But he said they was coming up. Him and a few other dudes, and the dude Knowledge approached him in the projects like, yo, what y'all dudes doing coming through my projects? Y'all know y'all not welcome up here, blah, 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 and kind of like marched them all the way back down to their projects. This was the crazy shit. This is what Tilo told me, right, out of his own mouth. He was like, yo, man, that dude is bugged out because he actually walked back with us all the way back down to Marcy, holding his gun. And Tilo was like, yo, we ain't had no guns on us. We was just coming to see y'all do whatever we was gonna do. We ain't had no hammers. Son was grippy. And Tilo kept it a bean. Tilo said, yo, man, yo, Nas, I ain't never felt so pussy in my whole life because I never have a dude press me like that, talk crazy, because Knowledge B mouth was crazy. When he, you know what I mean, when he get in his bag, when he hit 100, his mouth was crazy. And you know, I guess he said some pretty offensive things to Tilo and all them dudes, and then walked them back to their projects. Like, oh yeah, plus in case y'all gonna go get some guns, I'm gonna walk with y'all to go get y'all joint. And he walked them back down. But Tilo told me that when they got down to the Marcy Avenue side, the dude, because they walked down this block called Stockton, where the Cascade factory shop is at or whatever. And when they got to Marcy Ave, Tilo and them went through the parking lot, and they said they started picking up speed, running to go get the joints. They said Knowledge B turned right and came back up that block. I think it's Malcolm X or Martin Luther King, whatever, back up to Tompkins. And he said they never really seen him since that situation. So I told you the story about how once we all started affiliating with each other, I brought Knowledge down there, and they deaded that, right? So they deaded that. But just because they was deaded, that don't mean that feelings of animosity for whatever reasons didn't still exist, you dig? Knowledge just harbored a dislike for them dudes. I don't know why. He just didn't like them. And if he did tell me the reason why he didn't like them, I don't recall. You know what I mean? But so moving fast forward, now we all, you know what I mean, we rocking, right? But it's so much because we was doing so much stuff, right, in and around Marcy, right? You know what I mean? We used to be down there, going down in the Marcy dudes. If it was dudes down there that they didn't like, you know what I mean, they would point them out to us. And my team of dudes, we would rob them and do whatever, you know what I mean, to them. Like, all right, yo, y'all got a problem with my homies or whatever down here? They don't want to do nothing to y'all. We coming through. We straightening, we tightening dudes up around here. So that's what we was doing. We was going down there, tightening dudes up in Marcy for the homies that we was rocking with down there. Whoever they had problems with, we was kind of like getting them dudes out the way, because this is when the money game start coming and dudes starting to get money, like down in Marcy and all that. And Marcy was always a gold mine in terms of getting money. Some of the heavier players from out of Brooklyn that was getting money on a big scale, you know what I mean? Some of them dudes came from that Marcy era, that Marcy cloth. So, like I said, man, my earliest recollections of the dude Sean was that, you know, he was just one of them dudes that was from Tah-Tah and Tilo and them side of the project. He used to, you know what I mean? I guess he used to be around them. Like I said, I never really seen the dude or whatever. But just to get to the story, because like, you know, you wanted the little intricate details of the joint, right? So I wasn't there, right? I wasn't there when the robbery or whatever took place. I came in at the part where Dehaven, Tah-Tah, Sean, and Jazo came back up to the projects, I guess under the guise of...
Par itself though, how long was it since that robbery happened? That was the same night?
So, great question, homie. And the reason that's a great question, because after all those years, I thought about it, right? And you know, they say hindsight is 20/20, right? So they came right back. As far as I know, you know, they robbed them, you know, that night or whatever, and then they came back maybe an hour or two right after that.
Where that robbery happened? In Marcy?
In Marcy, right. They robbed them somewhere in Marcy on their side of the projects. Like, I don't know if it was in front of Jay-Z building or if it was in front of Tah-Tah building. I don't know who building it was in front of, but I know that God bless the dead, Knowledge B, God bless the dead, Hash, Knowledge B and Hash robbed them for, you know what I mean, for his jewelry and his coat. So now, before we even go any further, let's talk a little bit about the culture back in the 80s. This is around 86, right? 86 going to 87. It was the robbery culture in Brooklyn then. So everybody was getting robbed. I got robbed back in the days coming up too. So everybody that was playing in the streets, the robbery was a part of the street game, right?
Especially if you was getting fly. And the polo gooses was like, if you had a low goose, you know, you ain't got to be soft to get robbed. If you had a low goose, niggas will throw away their life to try to get you for that low goose back in the 80s.
And like you said, it's not even about being soft, homie. Like I said, on numerous joints that I did, it's about the drop. If somebody, you could be the toughest dude in the world, but if a dude back that ham out on you, and you could still have your joint on you, but if he get it out first and he got the drill on you, what you gonna do?
On top of that, you know, these dudes was killers. Knowledge B, like these dudes was known to blow they ratchet. So it's not like they was some no-name niggas trying to back son down. Like I'm sure son knew of them dudes and knew how they get down.
Right. So that's another thing. I'm quite sure that if he didn't know dudes per se, he knew who dudes were. Because like in hindsight, when I think about it and when I had conversations with dudes about it, Knowledge B told me and Hash told me they didn't know who son was. They just saw a dude with a fly coat on and some jewels. And we was robbing everything back then, homie. Facts. If he wasn't a part of the team, if the big homies was like, didn't say that was off limits, yo, them dudes is peoples or whatever, we was getting you. It was just that simple. That was the culture. So all the times myself and my team of dudes was down in Marcy, sticking dudes up, whatever, if dudes didn't know us per se, they knew who we was or about us because that was the culture then, and that's what we was doing then, right? So the reason I mentioned Knowledge B and Hash because over the years, I told you, Knowledge B was one of my, associates, dudes that was pretty close with me on my team, and we did a lot of things together. And I told you, dudes used to conflate the two knowledges. That's why they gave me, both our names was Knowledge B, right? So if you originally go back and dudes talk about me, they won't originally say Black Knowledge unless they came in a certain period of time, right? Because my attribute is Knowledge Born. Charlie, which is Knowledge B attribute was Knowledge Born. So the dudes in the hood always give you names, right? They get tired of, yo, Knowledge Born. We both looking. Somebody say, yo, Knowledge B, we both looking. So dudes be like, all right, listen, you Knowledge B, you Black Knowledge. That's how it's going down, right? You black as hell, so we're gonna call you Black Knowledge. And you, Charlie, you got a big head, so we're gonna call you Knowledge B. So that's how the monikers came.
Now, let me ask you right quick. Did you completely trust Knowledge B? Was y'all that tight where you completely trusted him? Could you turn your back on him without worry?
That's a good question, homie. And the reason it was a good question, right, is because if you didn't come up with a dude from the sandbox, meaning y'all was in school together, y'all played as kids together from the early age coming up, right? You couldn't really trust dudes outside of that immediate circle because Brooklyn was the snake culture. Dudes was snaking dudes left and right. So to answer your question with respect to Knowledge B, originally when I first started rocking with him, I wouldn't have turned my back on him because I was just getting to know him, and we was doing a lot of stuff together. And dudes, listen, the perfect example of this, we go out on juxes, dudes is tucking. I know you're familiar with the tuck. Dudes is tucking on the jux. So let's say we got 4 or 5 dudes back down and we supposed to split all of the proceeds, whatever. He might get a chain and a medallion. Dude might slip the medallion off the chain, tuck the medallion in his pocket and be like, yo, I got a chain. Dude might take a couple stacks out somebody's pocket, peel off mad fast and be like, yo, this is what I got. So that's the culture that we came from. It was all, fun and games or whatever, because we didn't look at it as nothing real serious. We doing crime, so it's not really ours. We taking that shit from somebody else. But at the end of the day, in hindsight, when you look back at it, you can see where the tendencies for foul play or snakeism would have developed in certain dudes based upon their character, right? And what they displayed with respect to their character on various different situations. So in the beginning, nah, I wouldn't have trusted Knowledge B. I wouldn't have been able to trust him with my life or whatever. I wouldn't have turned my back on him for fear of a possible snake move. When we got a little bit familiar with each other, yeah, I trusted him because we was together regularly and we was doing stuff together regularly. So we built a bond and an understanding. Cool, but then later on, that changed. And so that's a great segue too, because at some point we got to talk about how you grew up with dudes, right? From the sandbox, everything's cool. You know what I mean? It's not a lot really involved with the kiddie stuff. Y'all grow up cool, then something happens, transpires, and now y'all mortal enemies. You dig? Dudes trying to kill each other and all that. So, yeah, right? And it got to that. It got to that right around the time when, you know, Knowledge B got killed and all that. Like, you know what I mean? It got to that between us, right? The hugs wasn't tight no more. You know how you hug your brother and you hug your brother, right? Or when it's like a, you know what I mean? And instead of embracing dude, you push your hand to the dude, like, you know what I mean? So it started like this, ended like this, right? It started like this, got like this, ended like this, right? Ended like this. So, right. So the answer to that question was at various different stages. In the beginning, nah, I didn't trust him. I wouldn't have trusted him with my life. In the middle, yeah. Towards the end, definitely not. Definitely not, homie. Definitely not. But
all right. So that day, you said dudes had caught a robbery, but you wasn't there when that took place.
Facts.
But you heard about it as soon as it happened, or you ain't hear about it till they came back through.
Right. So back then, now I'm thinking back in the 80s, I don't think we had cell phones then at that time. I think we were still rocking with beepers and word of mouth and running back and forth throughout the projects and through the hood. I mean, we was young, we was moving around fast, doing a lot. So what happened was, after they caught the jooks, Hash and Knowledge B went wherever he went. He probably went to Tonkins, went to his crib, whatever. Hash came back to Sumner where we was at. And he told me, he like, yo, I just caught this coat. And he had it on. And I was like, checking it out. I said, oh shit, that shit was, that joint was fire. It was a 1987 Polo Goose, and this year was like 1986. So that coat was out, a year ahead. So
Part itself, this is the coat right here. And this was looking very exclusive. Very exclusive.
Yeah, that was a fact. And the funny thing about it, right? A little bit of backdrop. In the Sumner series, the introduction, that first picture that I sent you when I had on a yellow, I think it was a yellow and white or blue, whatever, Polo Goose, and Hash was in the picture with me. Hash had on a brown, like trench leather. Right? So we used to run around with that when I had that Polo Goose and he had that leather, and Hash used to always fiend for a Polo Goose. He like, yo, these joints is fire, but the prices on these is crazy. I gotta do it.
How much was them low gooses?
I can't even remember.
I think they was like $700.
I was about to say they was.
Don't think because it was the 80s that it was cheap. Like low gooses was $700-800 at that time. And if you was running around with a low goose in Brooklyn, you was looking like something. Straight up. Them shits was expensive. Anybody couldn't get one of those. That's why Triple Fat came out and took advantage of the style of Polo Gooses for people who could afford a Triple Fat. They was basically imitation low gooses at the time.
That's a fact. I was about to say they was kind of like those triple joints was biting the low
for $200 or $250.
Yeah, that's a fact.
But if you ain't see my episode, St. Laz, the Triple Fat Goose, know what I mean? Where I got caught rocking the Triple Fat Goose out of bounds. Go check that story. I got a story where I caught a Triple Fat thinking that they was still in style, but I caught them at the tail end of things and they was completely out of style.
Right.
And niggas laughed me out of school, man. $275 in the Ville. Now I mean Rockaway and Hegeman, niggas laughed me out the school.
For
with
rocking
that.
the triple fat?
Had the Bipple fat on looking crazy. And I got a picture of me with that triple fat goose coming in my documentary, Kids with Guns. You'll see. But yeah, bro, so you said Hash was feeding for a low goose.
Right. Because, you know, he used to see me with my joint on, and we used to always take pictures. Back then, we used to take pictures a lot, go to 40 Deuce or whatever, take pictures. And I guess he liked the way the pictures looked. And the way I looked in the logos, he's like, yo, I got to get me one of those. I got to get me one of those. So, you know, I guess, lo and behold, when him and Knowledge B probably running through Marcy on the various stick-up missions, they spot the dude Sean. And, you know, he's probably looking like something. Oh, a quick come up. I don't know that dude. He got jury on too. We taking that. And so anyway, we gonna get to that, right? So like I said, after they did the robbery, whatever, they probably dispersed where they went. Hash came back to the projects. So now I'm with him, and I'm like, oh, yo, that shit is fire. Where you got that from? He like, yo, we just robbed this dude down in Marcy. I'm like, damn, but who? You know what I mean? Because we fuck with dudes from down in Marcy. Because my team of dudes was known to flip, homie, and that's just what it was. Man, it was hard. It was hard, like, monitoring my team of dudes from Sumner, bro, because we was deep and everybody was a hitter. You know what I mean? Everybody. It wasn't no big G's, no little G's. Everybody was on the same level, and everybody got busy and played with the hammers. Crazy. So it was so much going on back then that if I wasn't particularly involved in a specific incident, I would have no knowledge of what's going on until it got back to me. Hence that situation. See the coat, like, yeah, we just robbed some dudes down in this dude down in Marcy. I don't know if Sean was by himself or if they caught him, somebody else, whatever. And he said they got some jewelry. So I was like, where the jewels at? He said, Knowledge B had the jewels. He said he took the coat and Knowledge B kept the chain. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I don't know how it transpired. I don't know
how that chain was. It was brolic or it was light or?
Nah, it wasn't no brolic cables and all that like we was wearing. It wasn't nothing heavy and chunky like we normally was wearing, but it must have been of some substance for them to take it, right? Because if it was some flimsy bullshit, they wouldn't have took it.
In the Ville, they take even the flimsy.
They taking the dental floss on me?
You can have one of them little balls they give you when you pierce your ears. If you had one of them little balls, niggas is taking that in the Ville. But yeah.
That's another episode too, homie, because we gotta talk about them Brownsville versus Bed-Stuy beefs and talking shit back and forth where dudes saying Brownsville is the grimiest and Brownsville cats saying Bed-Stuy is the grimiest. We used to be like, yo, them Brownsville dudes, you know, segue, we used to be like, yo, them Brownsville dudes will rob you for your laces, homie. They taking the laces out. They don't even want your sneakers. If your laces is fat and they looking like something, they gonna be like, yo, homie, let me get
Niggas be fighting over them laces. Niggas will be fighting each other over your laces.
They like, let me get them laces. But back to the story, homie. Me and we in the project, so I think it's a few of us. It's me, it's Hash, it's Weebo, it's myself, and it's a few dudes. I can't recall everybody that was there, but I specifically know that it was Hash, Weebo, and myself. We was coming from Hash side of the projects on to my side of the projects. As we was getting to my side of the projects, one of the other little homies, I can't remember who it was, coming from the Tompkins direction, speeding up over to us like, yo, H calling for y'all. It's a situation. He over there, I guess, with some Marcy dudes, and it might be a little problem. So we hightailed it over there, right? So when we hightailed it over there, so now we coming through 59 Park, that same park where I told you about that incident with the Spanish dude that was blowing, and I came through that little park shooting at him on Troop Avenue. We coming out that park, 59 Park, coming across Troop Avenue, going into Tompkins in the lane.
Hard self, if you ain't see that new episode, Black Knowledge Beef with Crooked Cops in Brooklyn, make sure you go check that on Genpop TV, because that's a whole movie. You was talking about when you was shooting that Conan that time.
Yeah, that was in Marcy though. Right. Oh, that's what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah. So you know what I mean?
All right, cool.
So-
Yeah, that was that Conan. You know, R.I.P. to the homie Conan. You know, he was a solid get busy dude or whatever. We had a nice little back and forth. We going down there shooting at him, he coming back shooting at us. So you know, it was a little tick for tack until you know I caught him out of bounds or whatever. But that's another story. But so when we going across the street into Tonka's projects to the lane, this lane is right on the side of Knowledge B building. On Troop Avenue, on the Troop Avenue side, facing the Sumner Avenue side, is 3 buildings. On the Troop and Myrtle side is I think it's 220. In the middle is 212, and at the bottom on Troop and Park Avenue is 196. Knowledge B grandmother lived in 220, and between 220 and 212 was a lane.
Yeah, part itself, you know, this lane was featured on Hood to Hood DVD when they spoke to Tompkins dudes. They was in that actual lane. For those that's not familiar, this lane is a section in Tompkins projects that is very, very dangerous. And if you ain't from out there, you better not be in that lane area.
In the 80s, when we was running around and it was crazy, you get caught in that lane out of bounds, you staying in that lane out of bounds. Those is facts. So we crossing the street. As I'm crossing the street, the first thing I zone in on is I see H, right? H is the dude, I told you my crime, he live in my building. H is my dude that I came up with from the sandbox. I see H in a conversation with Tah-Tah. I saw Tah-Tah, I know Tah-Tah. Saw Tah-Tah, saw Jazo, knew Jazo, and I saw Dehaven, knew Dehaven. So now, as we coming across the street, we kept our joints on us, homie. We didn't go nowhere without them sticks on us. So we all got sticks on us, right? That's just another part of the backdrop, so you know. We kept them things on us, so we got them things on us, right? So now, as we going across the street, I told you, I zoomed in and I see H because I'm looking for him because the little dude that ran to the projects or whatever to come get us said, yo, H is over there in Tompkins or whatever, with some Marcy dudes, it might be a situation, go pull up. So when we go over there, I'm looking for H, so I spot him. As we going across the street, Hash whispers in my ear, yo, that's the dude right there that we robbed. I'm like, who? He like, the dude right there with Tah-Tah in them. That's the dude we robbed for the coat and the chain. So now I immediately knew what it was hitting for, right? Tah-Tah, Dehaven, Jazo, and Sean. Okay, Hash just whispered in my ear, yo, that's the dude we robbed. So immediately I put 2 and 2 together. Tah-Tah and Dehaven and them know us, Jazo, but not so much. Tah-Tah and Dehaven know us. So I guess they figured, you know, they gonna come back and try to poly with dudes and possibly see if they could get something back. I don't know. I can't speak.
Hash grown up with Dehaven also when he was in Sumner back in the days?
Yeah, we all grew up. Dehaven was from Sumner Projects. So he, you know, Dehaven knew all of the major players in some of the projects because he was a part of it. He was one of them up on a different side, but it's one project. Everybody know each other in Sumner.
Shout out to the bro Dehaven. Make sure you go check that Marcy made documentary on like 10 streaming platforms.
That's a fact. So now, again, some of the backdrop, I told you that, you know, we played ball in school. We played ball our whole lives in school, right? I told you that I played ball with Todd, Sauce Money, back in the days. I also played ball with Dehaven when Dehaven, you know, was up in the projects, and we all went to similar schools and we played ball in the little neighborhood tournaments and all that. So we all knew each other from playing ball and playing sports, whatever. From playing ball and playing sports, whatever, right? So now, when we pull up to the set, Dehaven leaves away from Tah-Tah, Sean, Jazo, and H, and comes over to talk to me, Hash, Weebo, I think I'm feeling like it was like a couple more dudes with us, but I can't remember everybody. But the main dudes right there on that set right there was myself, was Hash, Weebo, and myself. In front of me was H, Dehaven, Tah-Tah, Jay-Z, and Jazo. So Dehaven immediately approaches us because we was coming. So he met us because he probably sensed the energy, right? You talking to my homie, it's for y'all, he by himself, what's good, right? That's how we coming aggressively. So he met us like, yo, you know what I mean? Hey, yo, everything's like, yo, this is, so I'm like, yo, what's up? So he breaking it down. He like, yo, you know what I mean? My man Sean, like, you know what I mean? That's my man, whatever, you know, dudes robbed him, whatever. And Dave say, he said, yeah, actually, yeah, Hash, that coat he got on right there, he said, you know, that was the coat. And, you know, he said he got a chain or whatever, take it from him. So let me also give you a little bit of how we played in Sumner, right? We didn't give nothing back, right? If we robbed you, it is what it is. You either gonna come back with your gun or whatever and do what you do, or you gonna take that L.
Yeah, that's sort of a Brooklyn rule, you know, for people who not familiar. Like in Brooklyn, that's sort of a rule. Like once a dude rob you, dudes ain't giving nothing back. You know, on very rare occasions, somebody would say, all right, man, my fault. But, you know, it was looked at as weakness to give people stuff back. You understand? So dudes just be ready to go all the way with it. Like, we ain't giving shit back. It is what it is. Let's get it. You feel me? So that was kind of the rule in Brooklyn. It wasn't personal. It was like a rule.
Right. I mean, and that got handed down to us from the older G's. Like, you take something from somebody, you do something to somebody, don't take it back. Right. Stand on it. Don't take it back. Stand on that business and deal with whatever consequences come with that. So, like, again, shout out to the homie Dehaven, man. We came up together, whatever. So, you know, we had a little familiarity with each other. He was, you know what I mean, cool about it. He wasn't on no aggressive rah-rah type energy because, you know, some dudes could be on that. Like, yo, niggas robbed my man and, you know what I mean, I'm here for blood and all that. Nah, he didn't come like that. You know what I mean? Homie was humble, respectful, like, yo, listen, you know what I mean? I know y'all dudes, whatever. This is my man. So I said, all right, you know, but I said, yo, listen, homie, you know, I didn't do it. I ain't had nothing to do with it. Hash is right here. You know what I mean? You know him. You don't know him as well as you know me, but, you know, you could talk to him. If he want to, you know what I mean, rock with it and get a joint back, then that's on him. That's cool. So, you know, him and Hash talking, whatever. So, and then Tah-Tah came over. And Tah-Tah was like, so Hash asked Tah-Tah, because, you know, Tah-Tah was like our little brother. We fucked with Tah-Tah heavy, right? And we had a lot of love for him. So, on the strength of him being in that situation, that added weight to it in terms of, all right, homie that got robbed might be somebody that was cool that we ain't know about, right? It happens. So it could have been a pardon me, here you go, if it went that way, or your man gonna have to hold that. Either way, right? So Tah-Tah came and said, yo, that's my man, whatever. So, you know, Hash was like, yo, homie, I ain't know, you know, pardon me, we run, but, you know, you already know the rules, we don't get nothing back. But on the strength of you, Tah-Tah, right? This is, you know, that's your man, whatever. I'll take the coat off right now, put it on the floor, and me and him can fight for it. Because, right, he can't just get it back without putting the work in, because we put work in to get it when we took it from him on the hammer tip, right? So you couldn't get, it wasn't easy, homie. We wasn't doing nothing easy, right? They took it, so we just gonna give it back? Nah, take it back, right? That's how we was on. So taking it back mean shoot the 5 with my man and show him something. And if my man respect what you show him, he gonna pick the coat up off the ground, hand it to you, and that was that. So Tah-Tah, because Jay-Z didn't come over. I mean, Sean didn't come over. It was just, and I'm gonna tell you why I'm differentiating between Sean and Jay-Z. It's the reason why I'm saying Sean and not saying Jay-Z, even though they one and the same, but I'm just saying Sean right now because he wasn't Jay-Z then, he was Sean, right? So Tah-Tah went back over to him, and they was talking with, H was over there with them. They talking, and I could, I could see the dude Sean, he talking back, him and Jazo talking to Tah-Tah, and his head is like, he's shaking his head, right? Like, so I was taking it like he didn't want to fight over the coat. So Tah-Tah came back and was like, nah, homie, he not fighting over the coat. He don't really care about the coat. He only care about the chain, right? I guess the chain or whatever must have held some sort of value to him, sentimental or otherwise, I don't know. But, they would have to ask that man. But he didn't want to fight my man for the coat. He was like, man, I'm not fighting for that coat. That coat ain't about nothing. That ain't about shit. But that chain, that might be something different. So I'm like, okay, right? I'm like, okay, so now look, right? Let's back it up a little bit. He said he didn't want to fight my man for the coat back, right? You can look at that in a lot of different ways, because when people view this, they're gonna look at it and have all sorts of opinions or whatever. But can't nobody judge nobody if they not in their shoes and in their head.
Son could have felt like it was heavy ratchets around, and if he got the best of the fight, he might get clapped.
See, this is why I fuck with you, because so everybody listen to us, huh? When we do this, none of this shit is scripted, homie. We don't write none of this down. He asking me these questions off the top of his head, and I'm responding off the top of my head to the best of my recollection. And the way we connect and the way he stays on par with me lets me know that we ain't alike, right? We in sync. We in sync with each other. That's a fact. So that's how I looked at it, right? And not right then and there, because in the moment it was up. And I'm looking at it from my perspective. I would have been like, all right, whatever. But again, like you said.
Myself though, not to be funny, but shout out to my bro Saquon. But my son was like, hold on. Niggas went to Sumner with no hand, I don't know if niggas had hammers. But niggas went to Sumner without hammers asking for shit back. Like, for those who don't know, Sumner is a very dangerous housing projects in Brooklyn. If you're not from out there, you have no business. You're not coming up in there demanding nothing from Tompkins or Sumner or Marcy for that case. You feel what I'm saying? But especially Sumner and Tompkins. So you gotta be a brave motherfucker with some heart to walk up in Sumner or Tompkins demanding anything.
It's not funny, but it's funny that you say that, because I, again, gotta shout the homie Dehaven out, because he had heart to come up to Sumner. But I attribute that to the fact that he was from Sumner, right? He went on and did his thing and made his name for himself down in Marcy, but you got your heart in Sumner, homie. You built your heart in Sumner where it was crazy at, because that's how we was playing, right? And I don't think he left out of fear or anything like that. Whatever his story is on why he left Sumner and went to Marcy, that's that man's story to tell. But the dudes that I heard, because I checked out the Marcy Made and all that. Shout out to the homie Dehaven with the Marcy Made series and all that. Doing your thing, homie. If y'all didn't check that out, go check that out. It's solid content, solid material in there. But he came up in Sumner, up the hill on the Myrtle Avenue side with dudes that was killers, like we was killers, because it wasn't nothing in Sumner but killers, homie. And that's a fact. So I guess he felt, listen, I know them dudes, so I'm going to go up there. But I guess Tah-Tah and Jazo and Sean didn't want him to go by himself. I mean, in hindsight, a lot of things that was done was not smart moves, homie. Especially if y'all coming out there and y'all not grippy. No matter what, you got to go with the temperature. If the temperature up in Sumner is gunslingers and dudes busting their hammers and getting crazy, how you going up there without a hammer to negotiate anything? When you negotiate, you're supposed to negotiate from a position of strength. How you gonna negotiate from weakness, homie?
And you gotta go negotiate from an imminent threat of violence.
Right. If you're not, like I said, if you're not if you're not
Poly gripped up.
right and doing that from a position of
No.
if you're not doing that from a position of strength, then like, you know what I mean? Dude's not jacking it, man. Dude's not respecting it, and that's it. Like I said, I don't know what was on that man's mind, right? When he said, nah, I ain't fighting dudes over. Like you said, what probably was on his mind, because he knew how everybody was playing, for the most part, that even if I win, I lose, right? He could have had, I never seen Sean fight. I don't know if he had hands or not. I know Hash had hands. Remember I told you everybody in my team had a label. Weebo had the dead arm. Hash was the brawler. Told you that. Hash would fight for hours, bro.
He was brawling though?
Yeah.
He was bigger than Jay-Z and more like at the time?
Shorter. Jay-Z was, Sean is tall. Sean back then was tall, right? And Hash was my size, my height. So Sean was taller than us. He was slim and tall. Hash was compact, stocky, like a pit bull, built for fighting, right? Right. So I guess that was, in hindsight, that was the smart decision, because
on top of him knowing that niggas was heavily gripped up, and you in they projects.
And right, you know, Hash was going. He had the joint on him. He was going to hand the joint over to me and get. We did that on plenty of occasions, man. Have joints on us. Dudes want to act like they got knuckle checks and all that. Yo, homie, hold this, and let me get to work with this dude over here. So, right, give me that and go ahead. Sean, he said, "No, I'm not fighting the dude." Like I said, he probably figured like if he win, he lose, and keeping it a being back then was correct, because we wasn't taking no losses.
So let's keep it real. If he would have pounded his son out,
that wasn't happening. First of all, we was jumping dudes, and then we was clapping dudes. So there was no getting the best of us. And you in our hood. We not in Marcy. You are damn near 2 blocks up. We in Tompkins, which is in the middle, but we closer to the Sumner side than we are to the Marcy side, right? So even if they would have fought, and they say, you know, you're supposed to have honor and all that. You listen, we wasn't jacking none of that. We wasn't taking no losses, right? You start getting off on my man, we gonna get out on you. We gonna either jump you, or
so son knew what time it was.
If the situation calls, hit you, right? Son knew what time it was, but obviously I don't think he really did, because he said he wanted the chain. So when Dehaven and Tah-Tah talking, they was like, yo, Nas, he don't really care about the coat. He ain't want, you know what I mean, trying to fight, but he want the chain from the other dude. So I said,
so where the chain wasn't on the scene though?
No, the chain was on Knowledge B's neck upstairs in his crib. But mind you, you done heard all the stories that I told about Knowledge B, son. Knowledge B was off the chain, right? So let me get this straight. He don't want to fight Hash, right? He wants the chain, and Knowledge B got the chain. So I told them, I forewarned them. These is all facts. I forewarned them. I warned Dehaven and I warned Tah-Tah. I said, yo, listen, I'm going to go upstairs and get Knowledge B, homie. And before I bring him down, I'm going to go talk to him and see if I could work something out with him about the chain. But once I go knock on that man's door and bring him down here, I'm not responsible for what happens. You know what I mean? So, all right, Dehaven wasn't, all right, Dad, go get him. Man, shit is crazy. I went upstairs, knocked on his grandmother's door, came to the door, yo, what's up, what's up? He mad hype, because if I'm coming to his crib, he probably think it's some action, or we going to do something, because, you know, we usually meet outside, but for me to knock on his door and be like, yo, homie, come on, he knew it might have been something. So I knocked on his door, he answered the door, he like, what's up? And I'm like, yo, some dudes downstairs from Marcy, and Marcy was the trigger word. That I didn't even get the rest out. He was already going, he left me standing at the front door and went back in the crib and was coming back out with a jacket and 2 guns. He threw 2 guns in his waist. I'm like, hold up. You don't even know what the rest I'm about to say. He like, you ain't got, Marcy, me and Hash just robbed somebody from Marcy, so that's probably them coming. But I'm like, yo, hold on, but I'm like, yo, it's Tah-Tah. Like, and Dehaven, right? They came up with the dude, I guess his name is Sean or whatever. He, you know what I mean? Hash was downstairs, everybody downstairs. He didn't want to fight Hash for the coat, but he said the chain. You know what I mean? The chain held some sentimental value to him, and he wanted the chain back. So Nas B looked at me and just, he just started going, listen, what? Listen, man, I'm not, fuck all that. I'm going downstairs and I'm telling you now, Nas, niggas say the wrong thing. I'm blowing somebody out. I said, homie. Like, right, chill. I told them I was gonna come get you, and I told them you might not be trying to hear it, but on the strength of Tah-Tah and the little relationship that I had with Dehaven back in the days growing up, I said I would give it a shot. You don't have to give it back, homie. You could just go down and say, nah, I'm not giving nothing back. And then that'll be the end of it. Or, you know what I mean? If he want to fight, whatever, you can pluck him out. It's up to you. But you don't need both the guns. We got hammers down this, mad hammers, because I didn't trust him with a gun, homie. Because I know there's no control of him, right? I couldn't control none of my homies, really. I could try to talk sense into them, but in the heat of the moment, there's no controlling these dudes, homie. I wasn't their boss. I was their equal, their peer, right? We got busy together. They didn't get busy at my behest or my request. I didn't send them to do shit. No, we went and did things together. So I knew that if he came downstairs with them joints and it got crazy, there was not much I was going to be able to do. But I warned them dudes, homie, and they said, go ahead and get them anyway. So, all right. Now it's about it's gonna play out. So we went downstairs and came out the building, turned left into the lane, and everybody's right there. Still, Sean and Jazo was back there, kind of like body self, waiting. Tah-Tah was with H, like right a little bit in front of them. Dehaven was there kind of like with Hash and Weebo or whatever. So when we came around the corner, Knowledge just hit 100, bro. Knowledge B just hit 100, bro. And when I say hit 100, right, that mean Knowledge mouth was crazy. So that mean when he hit 100, that mean he's starting the sentence off with, you bitch ass niggas and you pussy. That's how he talk, bro. Because he was ready for smoke. And whenever he engage you like that, he don't really want to talk. He's using those offensive terms so you can say something to give him a reason to blame you, right? So he comes with that energy. Sean saw that energy and was like, oh, nah, I don't fuck the chain. Like, you know what I mean? So, but I'm like, hold on, homie. Nah, I know fuck the chain because you made me go upstairs and get this man, right? Like you didn't want to fight him, like you was gonna fight this other dude for your shine. Something gonna have to give because, right, it's getting a little hot right now. And see, Knowledge B changed the temperature. We was cool on some respectful type, you know what I mean? Because we knew each other, whatever, conversation, that's how the conversation was. But when Sun came around that bend and went to 100 and upped it.
Now this was nighttime or daytime?
Nighttime, homie. So it's no turning back now, right? So Dehaven took offense to the way Knowledge B was speaking, rightfully so, right? But what wasn't smart about, to me, in hindsight, what wasn't smart in my eyes about Dehaven's whole move was that, homie, you ain't got no joint on you, right? So you supposed to swallow your pride and just hold it down and live to see another day and beat your feet and come back if you feel in a particular way. You don't poke no bear, bro, or put no wounded, bloody animal in front of predators, right? Because they gonna want to eat. So when Knowledge came around the corner, y'all bitch ass niggas coming up here. Wait, the fuck is wrong with you, Tah-Tah? Bringing these bitch ass niggas up here. Pussy ass niggas ain't getting nothing back. And he ain't even want to fight Hash for the coat. So what do you want for the chain? I take the chain off. He actually snatched the chain off, threw it on the floor. I take the chain off now and throw it on the floor and tell him to fight me for it right now. If he ain't gonna fight me for it, get the fuck out of here. And this is exactly how it went. It went from 0 to 100. He started yelling and giving off his spiel as soon as we turned the corner and as soon as he saw them dudes. And I guess for him, right, I can't speak to it for his mindset. He's not here, so I can't even ask him why, but he didn't like Marcy dudes, homie. For whatever reason, he didn't like Marcy dudes. So I guess for Knowledge B, it was the audacity, right? I robbed you dudes, and then y'all coming back up here 4 deep like y'all want smoke. So let's get to the smoke. Forego all the talking, let's get to the action. So when he was saying all, and yo, this is not funny, man, but it's funny because this is how it went. He was saying all that, you know, the profanity and the disrespectful terminologies to the dudes and all of that. And you know, all of them dudes standing there with their mouths open, just like looking at him like, because he going off just and on a tirade. And we all look, I'm like, but I've seen it a million times. So I already know what it's hitting for. I know the gun's coming out because I know he got 2 joints on him. So he getting hype, saying what he's saying, all the profanity. And then he pulls out the joint and shoots it in the air. He lets off 2 shots in the air. Boom, boom. And then he says, so this is where I knew it was going to go sour, homie. He pulled the joint out after berating them, saying whatever he's saying, threw 2 shots in the air, bah, 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 whatever. Now y'all bitch ass niggas run. That was crazy, right? That was crazy because at the end of the day, they men, homie, right? Tah-Tah was a man. We young men, but we still men. Dehaven was a man. Sean was a man. Jazo was a man, right? So sometimes, right, the man ego supersedes the man intelligence.
That's a fact. I had a nigga ride up on me with a burner before, acting like he was about to clap, and I had to tell my man, yo, bro, I'm not running. So, you know what I mean? We gonna have to die here today, because I'm not letting this nigga say he made me run, because he got a little ratchet. Fuck that nigga ratchet. You know, and that's dumb, because you only get one life. This ain't a video game, but I've done it. A nigga tried to ride up on me with a ratchet, trying to make me run before. And I told my man, I looked to the side and said, bro, I'm not running. I'm not giving this nigga that satisfaction of running from his gat. You feel what I'm saying? And that nigga froze up and didn't do nothing, but go ahead, my fault.
Right. So our rule was don't pull a gun out unless you're going to use it. So when the gun comes out, somebody's getting hit. That's the rule. That was our rule. So when he did that and shot in the air and told them to run, so I'm immediately kind of like tensing up. If you Knowledge B, you right here, you on my left-hand side, I'm right here. So, you know, I used to box, so I pivoted, you know what I mean, and shifted my body to my right side this way and got on the ball of my foot because I knew that I might have to spring into action with this dude. Your Knowledge B, I'm right here. Hashing them is somewhere in the perimeters. Tah-Tah is here. Weebo's over there with Tah-Tah and H. Jazo, Jay-Z there. Dehaven's right there in the front of Knowledge B because Knowledge B is kind of like talking to Dehaven. And when he said that and shot in the air and told them to run, Sean mumbling, I've read his lips because I'm watching everything now because I know it's about to get crazy. So I'm watching hands, waist, I'm watching everything. I've seen his lips mumble like, sucking his teeth like, man, I ain't running, like mumbling on his breath, I ain't running. And Dehaven said that out loud right in front of Knowledge B face. He was like, man, I ain't running. When he said that, these is facts, homie. You know, these is all facts. Knowledge B brought that gun down from the air and put it dead to his head and squeezed the trigger. Right? But I told you I was already in pivot mode, right? I'm watching everything because it's getting hot. So I'm watching body language or whatever. And when he said, oh, I ain't running now, and Tah-Tah, I ain't running. And Dehaven, man, I ain't running. I ain't no paw, I ain't running. And that, he left-handed. Knowledge B was left-handed. So the joint was on the left-hand side in the air, and Dehaven was right here. When he brought that gun down to his head, I smacked it. And it because he was shooting. I know my homie. I already did this. Listen, I already know how it's going down because you're challenging him with a loaded gun in his hand after he fired the warning shots to tell y'all to run. But, you know, that was his, Nas B was very theatric, homie. Like, how you gonna tell dudes to run? You know, that's disrespectful, right? It's not funny, but it's
hard
funny.
to swallow that
right,
pride.
right.
It's hard to
You know what I
swallow
mean? Like, run. So, like you said, I guess they was like, man, I'm not gonna run, and then this dude shoot me in my back. If he gonna shoot me, he gonna shoot me. And I'm gonna keep it a bean to the homie Dehaven credit. You know what I mean? You know, shout out to Sumner dudes, homie. You know, Sumner raised warriors. He didn't flinch. I guess in his mind, I guess he figured if he was going to go, he was going to go. When he put that gun to his head, he was just looking at him like he wasn't going to run. He was already committed. So he looked, and the gun came dead at him, and I smacked it, and it went off to the right side of his ear. So the gun went off right by the right side of Dehaven's ear. So when I smacked it down, I stepped my body in front of Knowledge B and Dehaven. And I got Knowledge B left arm in my right hand, right? I got his left arm, my right hand, and I pushed his arm down because you ain't gonna shoot me by mistake, but I'm keeping my elbow locked and stiff, right? I got him stiff, and I'm pushing him back, and I'm telling behind me like, yo, homie, yo, back up a little bit, move, like, Joe, just go ahead. And I'm telling him, like, yo, chill. These dudes are crazy. While I'm telling him, yo, chill, like, relax, it's mad mayhem behind me. I hear it. So I turn around.
What you mean, like dudes was saying shit?
Yeah, it was mayhem. Tah-Tah, I guess Dehaven was his man, right? And Tah-Tah knew us. So Tah-Tah took offense to Knowledge pulling out the gun, shooting in the air, probably berating him, talking crazy, and then, you know, I'm about to down his man, right? So Tah-Tah, listen, homie, at the end of the day, I guess, you know, courage is, you know, it kicked in for them dudes. Like, you know, Tah-Tah was like, yo, word, Tah-Tah exact words was, oh, word, Knowledge, you gonna pull out a gun? Oh, word, and Knowledge, I'm holding him, and he like over my shoulder, like, what you said, Tah-Tah, what? So I'm like, yo, son. So I whispered in his ear. I said, when I got him, I whispered in his ear, I said, yo, homie, I'm not killing Tah-Tah tonight, homie. These is facts. I whispered, Tah-Tah not dying tonight, homie, because if you kill Dehaven, we gotta kill everybody here. In for a penny, in for the whole dollar, homie. Right? That was the saying. In for a little, in for a lot. The game was you don't leave witnesses, right? You're not supposed to. And then you'll leave witnesses, especially of certain types of calibers, that could turn back into enemies that come back to get you, right? So if homie would have executed the play that he had in his mind and downed him, we would have had to down everybody else, homie. And these is facts. But that wasn't happening on my watch. I wasn't killing Tah-Tah. I didn't have nothing to do with the Dehaven situation because that was Jay-Z. I mean, that was Knowledge being Dehaven. They both men. Them two going at it. So if Knowledge would have plugged them, that would have been between them, right?
When that shot went off, what, Dehaven just stood there?
He stood there, son. He stood there. And when I grabbed him, pushed him back, he was like mumbling, like, you know, backing up, kind of like walking away. And I'm telling him, like, yo, son, like, yo, y'all bugging. Y'all better, like, go ahead, right? So it's getting hot now because that Tah-Tah is going off. Tah-Tah going off. Yo, word, dudes won't pull out guns. Oh, y'all violating like that? Oh, word, I. So now, certain words are trigger words, homie. You can't use certain words in an already volatile situation because that's like throwing gasoline on a fire.
Yeah, it's threats.
Right. So Weibo and H was there. H trying to separate them two, right? Knowledge B beefing over my head, yelling at Tah-Tah, right? Hash just standing there kind of like snickering, laughing, like watching the whole thing. It was comical to him. H is trying to dissolve the situation because now Weibo and Tah-Tah going at it. Because Weibo, that's our hitter. Remember, Weebo's the one with the dead arm, right? Since a little dude. Hash took the coat, Knowledge B took the shine, right? Came downstairs, popped the shine off his neck, threw it on the floor, went into a rage, a tirade, said what he said, pulled out the hammer, bust the joint, followed through with it, pointed at the Dehaven head, about to pull a trigger, I smacked the gun down, and the gun went off. Boom!
Now, Knowledge B didn't grow up with Dehaven, and he didn't really know Dehaven like that.
Knowledge B was across the street from us. He had to grow up with Dehaven, homie. We all grew up. Listen, this is us. Sumner, cross this little street, Tompkins, cross a longer street, Marcy. This is us. We all went to this. I didn't go to 33, but mostly everybody, I told you I was a little bit academically advanced, so I did good on those tests. I went to IS 71, but for the most part, everybody went to public school 33, right? So everybody went to school together. Everybody knew of each other, knew who each other was. But here was the difference, right? And I don't think that Dehaven really put a lot of thought into it. I guess he figured, yo, wait. You know, from what I heard of the stories that he told, his version was that, what? You know, dudes got robbed Jay in front of the building. What? He came downstairs and heard, yo, I think they was from Sumner. He was like, oh, I'm from Sumner originally. I know dudes from Sumner. Let me go up there. I probably know the dudes. Let me go. But you forgot who them dudes was, right? He knew, but I guess he figured that on the strength of him growing up with us, right? But here's the difference, which I wanted to point out to you. We're growing up with dudes, homie. Just because you grew up with a dude from a small period of time, if y'all wasn't doing crimes and playing hammers, that don't transfer over until when you become damn near adults.
You don't know that man no more.
Right.
He's a different person.
Right. So Dehaven, although he grew up in Sumner and knew us when we was kids, I'm talking about 8, 9, 10, 11. No, we 15, 16, we playing with guns.
Oh, so at this time, how old was Knowledge B? Like, you know,
all of us was the same age. So if this happened, we was still teenagers. So we was all around 17.
Wow.
17, 16, 17, whatever. But we knew each other. I said junior high school. So what? You go to the 6th grade when you're 10 years old, right? 6th, 7th, and 8th. That's junior high school. So 10, 11, 12. So that was that age. But high school now, homie, we different animals now, right? So if you wasn't running with the pack of animals, when we became of age and started doing that wild shit, we'll know you, you'll know us. We know who you are, but we'll know you, homie, right? So that was, to me, in hindsight, that was his mistake. I guess thinking that
he's still cool from back in the days. You can't do that.
Right. So, long story short, you know, getting back to the heated argument, it's getting heated. I don't know. And it's for me, right? When I thought back about it, it felt like, I don't know, like maybe Tah-Tah and Weebo maybe had some animosity towards each other that, you know what I mean, bubbled up at that particular moment. That particular moment didn't really have anything necessarily to do with it, but it was the catalyst to push it over the edge, because probably prior to that, they had run-ins and situations where, you know what I mean, they probably just chalked it up in the book. Oh yeah, this nigga Tah-Tah got on my nerves and shit, play games with me. I'm gonna put this in my black book. So, you know what I mean? He do that a couple more times, I'm gonna go upside his head. He probably had the same thing in his joint with respect to Weebo, because it escalated too fast between them two, and we all was running with each other. So for them two to go at it in each other's face like that, you know what I mean? And then it got to the point where H couldn't do nothing no more.
Par itself. At this time, T-Lo was already back in the essence?
No, this was before we went to prison. T-Lo was down in Marcy, right? Doing whatever he was doing. But he didn't come up there with them. I don't know why.
If he would have came up with them, you think it would have been a different situation?
It don't make a difference, right? Who they came up there with respect to Knowledge B. If it was just us, just the Sumner dudes, if it was just myself and just Hash and just H and just Weebo, we'd have probably been able to figure something out, because H was cool with them Marcy dudes. He grew up with them, being down in Marcy with them. I met Tah-Tah and T-Lo and all them and Huck and half of them through H. You know what I mean? He went to school with them dudes. He hung out with them dudes. I think he probably was sweet on You know what I mean? One of Tah-Tah's sisters, I think, back in the days, they was courting each other or dating, whatever. So H had the rapport with them dudes, right? Which is why H was there talking to them when the little homies came and got us. Because I guess they figured, Tah-Tah figured, yo, well, I know H, and H be running with them dudes. Maybe I could talk to H, right? Sound plan, but H couldn't control us and Knowledge B. None of us can control each other. We could, say, hold on, homie, let me holler at my homies and see what they want to do. But beyond that, if it's not a go, it's not a go, homie. So it wasn't a go. Tah-Tah beefing, Weibo beefing. At that point, H was just got mad and just got out the way. And so now I told you I'm still holding Knowledge B talking to him. I told you, I'm telling at the simultaneously while I'm telling him like, yo, nah, Tah-Tah not dying tonight, homie. I'm not killing Tah-Tah tonight. If you shoot this dude, we gotta kill everybody. Tah-Tah, they not dying tonight, homie. And the dude, Dehaven is cool, you bugging, chill, whatever. I told you I hear Bedlam mayhem behind me. And I'm looking and they beefing, whatever. And we both sock Tah-Tah. So now, let me give you just a size comparison and differential between dudes. Weibo was always like a fat dude, right? But you know how some of those fat, chubby dudes have layers of muscle underneath that fat, and they be broad and they strong. They like hit like silverback gorillas. Tah-Tah, I don't know, 5'4", 5'5", all of, 90, 120 pounds soaking wet. He couldn't take one of those from Weibo's arsenal of dead arms. He couldn't take one of those, right? But his heart was that of a lion because his peoples was in jeopardy and he was speaking up for his peoples. It got out of hand, beefing. Weibo socks Tah-Tah, knocks him out, drops him. You know what I mean? Tah-Tah jumps back up and Jazo and Sean grabs him. Like, he a little wobbly, and I'm like, yo, so now I had to let Knowledge B go to get Weibo, right? So I'm like, yo, so I'm like, yo, I push Weibo, but yo, what you doing? He like, he rightfully so like, nah, F that, son, these dudes come here talking, but I said, yo, that's Tah-Tah, homie, you bugging. Pushed him back, and now I'm telling these dudes, so now, all right, now it's no more talking. We're at the violent stage. Either y'all gonna go, or y'all gonna stay. Right? That's where we at, right? So, and Tah-Tah like, all right, so we gonna leave, but yo, Weibo, I'ma see you. And Weibo, what that mean? I'm like, chill, yo, chill. And you know what I mean? And they left, right? So they left. And so when they left, we left. We went back into some, so now me and Knowledge, so this was the start, right? Of Knowledge B and myself heading towards the outs. Right? Because I guess Knowledge B didn't like the fact that I publicly stopped him from doing something because I never did that before. All of the situations we've been in, all of the work we put in together, I never physically restrained him from doing something. I might have told him to chill verbally or tried to talk him down, but I never put my hands on that man and apprehended him and stopped him from doing something. So he wasn't really jacking that. And I told you, wasn't no big little G's in my team. We all checked each other. So we got into a big argument, and you know what I mean, about that. Almost a physical confrontation because he was like, yo, disrespecting me in public in front of them dudes, whatever, all the wild words he using. But I'm like, yo, homie, at the end of the day, my argument was you not gonna dictate my future, homie. That was 4 murders that we would have been having to fight or been on a run for because of your impulsive actions. So I'm talking about we giving it to each other, homie. These is facts. We verbally giving it to each other because my position was solid and clear. Homie, I told you that everything was, under control. We had hammers already. You didn't have to bring the 2 guns down there. I don't know what issues you got with these Marcy dudes or whatever, but don't put me in no trick bag because you can't control your impulses and you want to blow somebody's head off and force my hand. Right? Don't force my hand because I'm a willingly partake in whatever, right? Because that's how we play it. I'm a willingly partake in the drama and putting the pain in. Don't force my hand. Don't do that. Especially if I asked you not to do that before we came downstairs. I asked you, homie, on the strength of these dudes, like, chill. Just hear him out, and all you gotta do is say, nah, I ain't giving it back, or he could fight me for it. That's it. You ain't have to pull the hammers out and berate them men like that and talk crazy like that. So I already knew it was gonna be work behind that. Facts. Because I knew, Dehaven was from the projects. He wasn't soft growing up and all that. So I knew that we might as well possibly get ready for some retaliation. I especially knew that it was going to be some work behind the Tah-Tah situation. Because in one of my previous stories, I told you Tah-Tah was loved down in Marcy the same way my brother Poise was loved up in Sumner. You do something to Poise or Sumner, you got so many different people coming to fix you for that. You do something to Tah-Tah anywhere down in Marcy, you got so many different people from Marcy and all over coming to fix you, including us, because that was our peoples. You violate our peoples, not only do you got to worry about them, his immediate peoples, but you got to worry about us, the surrogate peoples. We coming for our peoples that we ride for. So Weibo was out of line for that, right? But I couldn't chastise him too much because he did it in the heat of battle, right? Because that's what he was supposed to do. Those is talking crazy, acting like they with the smoke. We give out all smoke, so it don't make a difference who you are. Once you cross that line, all right, we adversaries now. Let's get to it. He did what he did. I didn't appreciate it. I didn't respect it. I felt it wasn't warranted. And I told you in my mind, because I always think and analyze and pay attention to shit. In my mind, I said, damn, man, them dudes had to have some sort of issues or whatever prior to that because they took it to 100. And them dudes don't even usually hit 100. It be us that be hitting 100. They don't hit 100 like that. We will just knock you out on some calm, cool stuff. I ain't never seen Tah-Tah out of character. All my life that I've known him, I've never seen that man raise his voice. I don't even recall ever seeing that man angry. He was angry that night because he was riding for his homies, right? And I guess he felt offended, right? Because I guess he probably felt like, well, damn, man, y'all should have knew, but we should have knew nothing. If dudes ain't introducing dudes to certain dudes and letting it be known that these is people and they off limits, then whatever happens. You can't be mad, right? Because you ain't say nothing. A closed mouth don't get fed, and a closed mouth can't give out information that might be needed to prevent this type of shit, right? Because, had proper introductions been made or whatever, no matter how fly Sean might have been, those would have been like, he off limits. Because to keep it a bean, it was plenty times the homie Dehaven came through crazy heavy. Listen, we taking that, right? But I'm like, nah. Homie's like, yo, I'm like, no, that's Dehaven. He from the project. Nah, his son is good. Y'all not robbing him. Unbeknownst to him, plenty of times he came up in the hood or I heard about dudes like, yo, I'm like, nah, son is cool. He is solid, cool dude. He don't fuck with nobody. He getting his money. Don't hate on him. Like, nah, he don't get robbed. He from Sumner. We don't rob people from our own projects. That's solid. If he was a bird or, one of them type of dudes, then yeah. But he wasn't, right? He was solid. So he gets the pass. That was known, right? But that didn't stop the fact and change the fact that dudes wanted to because he was crazy heavy. I seen it, but I'm not a hater, jealous. I'm like, all right, little homie from the projects doing this thing. He over there getting money, cool. We getting money too, but we taking ours. I don't know how he was getting his, but we was taking ours, right? So my thing was, I don't know, dudes be having hidden agendas, right? Hidden animosities, right? And then that incredible Hulk green monster known as envy, bro. A lot of times dudes be kind of like envious of dudes and they might want to do something just because they don't like a dude because they jealous of him. Or just because, they both after the same broad and the dude might score on the broad and he won't push the dude's shit back over abroad or something like that.
In reality is, man, in hoods like where we from, Brownsville, Bed-Stuy, the real Bed-Stuy, where you from and all of that, like, bro, the reality is in Brooklyn, if you heavy, crazy heavy, you better be killing niggas too. If you ain't killing niggas out there, is gonna be somebody that's gonna be offended by you being heavy in Brooklyn. If you ain't murdering niggas and you running around with your neck stupid in Brooklyn, it's gonna be hard for niggas to let you run around with shit. I'm just keeping it real, bro. You feel what I'm saying? So you may be a stand-up nigga. You may be a real nigga. You may be a money-getting nigga. You may be a good motherfucker. But if you not murdering niggas in Brooklyn and your shit heavy, it's a 50-50 chance somebody gonna cross those lines.
He was in the projects and dudes saw him. It might have been in the most high plan for me to be around and be like, oh no, he from the project. Y'all not doing that. You know what I mean? Y'all not doing that. But had I not been there, probably they would have did that. And see, I think too, bro, and with a lot of dudes from that era, from Brooklyn all over, knew that dudes or something was mixing the 211 with the 187. You dig? So a lot of times dudes didn't get away from the 211.
I remember one time I was in Tompkins and I had some stupid shit on my neck, being stupid and naive, thinking because I'm from Brownsville that, you know what I mean, I'm good anywhere. And my man from Marcy, my nigga Judo, he told me, he said, yo, listen, son, you my man, you a stand-up nigga, you was real up north, you a real nigga, but these Tonkin niggas will rob you and murder you. Don't come around here with big shit like that on your neck, my nigga, just out of respect for me. Cause I'ma have to if niggas violate. And I understand. Now as a grown man, I understand that shit. It's nothing personal. But if you got some crazy shit on your neck and you not a serial killer in Brooklyn, somebody gonna try you, bro.
Either you a serial killer or you
connected to serial killers.
You connected to serial killers. You got some serial killers or some hitters, heavy hitters on your payroll, right? But like I said, getting back to the story, I'm telling these dudes, me and Knowledge B, we have our argument. He go upstairs, whatever. We go to something. I'm talking with Hash and all them. I'm like, yo, bro, we gonna have to go down there and holler at Tah-Tah and the peoples, bro, to straighten that situation out, because you know what I mean? We both shouldn't have put his hands on him, but I understand the heat of the moment. It got crazy, whatever. But we gonna have to ward that off, because I know some retaliation is coming, right? Our fault, my bad, right? You know what I mean? Has bad. We said those words, right, verbally, but we didn't go follow through, because usually we'd have marched right down to Marcy and tried to figure it out. But we was like, hold on, everybody hot right now. Wait till tomorrow, let dudes cool off, because Knowledge wilded out, upon himself, disrespected dudes, shot in the air, tried to shoot this dude in the head. You know, dudes might need a little bit of calm down time before they even try to entertain the thought of hearing somebody, right? But at the end of the day, Tah-Tah was people. So we was gonna go to Tah-Tah crib, because we knew we lived, and you know, we go to each other's cribs, knock on the door, holler at each other, make sure it's safe, right? So in hindsight, we probably should have did that right then and there in that heat of the moment while it was still hot, because it would have probably warded off what happened next. We didn't. I don't know where I went. I think I probably went in the crib time we left, right? And
you said nobody answered? Y'all knocked on the door?
No, we didn't go. I said if we should have, in hindsight, we should have went that night. Okay. But we like, yo, let some time cool, let them dudes cool off. We'll do it tomorrow.
Let some rationale set in.
Right. But I said we shouldn't have. We should have just went right while it was hot, like we said we should have, but we didn't for whatever reasons. And I don't know where dudes went and what happened, but I know that I went to the crib, you know what I mean, went to bed.
Part itself, niggas just, so after that situation, dudes just walked away?
Yeah, they walked off. Tah-Tah, Sean, Jazo, Dehaven walked down.
Nobody ran?
No, ain't nobody ran. They walked down the lane back towards Marcy. And, you know, they was, you know, probably talking amongst each other about whatever they was talking about. And their body language was tight and tense. So in my mind, I'm like, cool, you know, body language is everything. So I could tell by their body language that it was going to be something, right? rightfully so. I respect it. I know what it's in for. So I'm telling my dudes, yo, be on point, man. Because, you know what I mean? Whatever. So dudes dispersed, went to where they went to. You know what I mean? I went to the crib. The next, I don't know, early the next morning, like, because I went to bed late, so I didn't get up. I don't even know what time it was, but it was midday, probably going in the afternoon. I get a knock on the door. Boom, boom, boom. I go to the door. It's Weebo. Weebo at my door looking like the Elephant Man. So I'm like, yo, bro, what's up? He was like, yo, dudes from Marcy came back and caught me slipping and pistol with me with the AR-15 and all sorts of other hammers all in my head. And all this. He was looking like the Elephant Man.
Pistol whipped with the AR-15?
Yeah, yeah.
That shit different.
Yeah. And so now I'm tight now, homie. Because, all right, I knew it was coming. I told dudes to be on point.
Caught him slipping where? In Sumner?
Yeah. In front of his
Niggas
building.
came back the same night?
Yeah, to his building. Caught him at his building. They came back to murder him. Facts. And I'm going to tell you how, as it was relayed to me, how he got around getting murdered. This is him telling me. He said he was in front of the building. They caught him slipping. The dudes that came back, wasn't Tah-Tah, but the peoples. Dudes that we affiliated with as well. They came back and they did him dirty. They was going to kill him. The only reason they didn't kill him, because Knowledge B was there.
He was Dolo?
Who?
Oh, you said Knowledge B was there?
Yeah, it was around. So Knowledge B was, I don't know how dudes just got a sixth sense. They just happened to pop up at the right time. I guess they had Weebo and they was doing whatever they was doing to him, and Knowledge B came from Tompkins through that 59 Park running. I guess somebody probably ran into him. He came running like, yo, don't shoot him. Chill, don't shoot him, don't shoot him, don't shoot him, don't shoot him. So again, now I told you, all of this was the start of our being on the outs with each other, right? Because when Knowledge B told me his version of the story, I was offended because I'm like, yo, homie, you always got your gun. So if you was running to the situation and you saw them violating the homie while your gun wasn't drawn, right? Because that's what it was supposed to be doing. You said chill. So he said, no, they had a big machine gun. I guess he's talking about that AR-15, big joint. He's like, nah, son. And it was a bunch of them. And I was by myself. I had the joint, but he said, and it didn't register to me, right? It didn't register to me because you don't never chill. You always on 100.
Dudes had to come back real strong for the dude like Knowledge B to say, I was outnumbered and it wasn't a good look for me.
Facts. So long story short, we were told what happened. They beat him all upside his head, whatever. So now I'm tight. So
what? Knowledge B came over there and jetted the shit. They stopped beating him.
They was not stop beating. They was gonna kill him. They had the guns. They was gonna kill him. And he read, don't shoot him, chill. And he stopped them from killing him. I guess they had enough respect for him that, you know what I mean? I guess the hits upside the head or whatever with the guns and whatever else they did to him was enough to satisfy, I guess, him knocking Tah-Tah out, right? Because he knocked Tah-Tah out because he got the dead on Tah-Tah. Was
knocked him out or dropped him?
Knocked him out, like unconscious, jumped up and woozy, right? A knockout, right? So, but not snoring, sleeping, unconscious for a long period of time, but so much so that we didn't know, right? And which is why they came back later on that night and caught we were slipping. Tah-Tah had to go to the hospital, right? So he was like I guess he was complaining about headaches or whatever, because Weebo hit hard, bro. He had a dead on, and he must have hit him so hard, and he probably hit his head on the ground when he fell, and he probably jumped back up so fast, right? I think he had a concussion or whatever, and he was in like a little coma for like a week, like 3, 4, 5 days, almost a week, right? So when I guess that was too much for the homies down in Marcy, that pushed them over the edge when they had to take the little homie to the hospital, right? And the coma's in the head, you might not wake up out of that. So they was coming to eat money on Weebo, and they found them, and they did what they did, and Knowledge B saved them. But I guess in hindsight, he did what he did, which was enough because it spared the homie Weebo's life, right? Because if they'd have killed Weebo, it would have been up, right? It wouldn't have been no negotiations, no stopping, no talking. It would have been murder on sight, right? Y'all gonna have to give it to us because we coming to give it to y'all every day, regularly, until we annihilate. That's how it's gonna go down, right? So Knowledge B, I guess, I don't know what was going through his mind, but he stopped it. Weebo came to me looking like the Elephant Man, beat up and all that. I had a green military bulletproof vest. Never forget. And I had two. I had a smaller one, right? A thinner one that I wore every day regularly, my personal bulletproof vest, but I had a big army green bulletproof vest. And Weebo was a big dude, burly. So I gave it to him. I said, yo, here, put this on, went in the stash, and I gave him a hammer. I said, because I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they took a gun from him too or whatever, but it was a lot of crazy shit that night. So I gave him the bulletproof vest, made him put that on, put his jacket on over that. I gave him a green army bulletproof vest. He'll remember. Everybody else remembers. He put the bulletproof vest on. I gave him a gun. I said, yo, homie, stay low, but stay on point. Like, you know what I mean? Because, you know what I mean? It's up. Let me see what you want to do, right? I asked him, what you want to do? He was like, yo, man. Weebo kept it tall. He was like, yo, man, them dudes could have killed me, bro. I guess he probably had an awakening, right? Because, you know, his life was in their hands, but for Knowledge B coming through saving him. So he was like,
now whoever came through, they was your age or they was older?
Nah, one of the dudes was older, one of the dudes was OG, and the other dudes was our age. One of the dudes was an older OG that fucked with us, fucked with me in particular, heavy, you know what I mean? And so he didn't necessarily know Weebo. He knew me and my immediate team of dudes, but he didn't really know Weebo like that. So I guess it was just a similar situation. Dudes ain't like, so they came and they did what they did. I gave the homie the vest, the gun, hold yourself down, stay low, we gonna take care. What you wanna do? And he said, yo, whatever. Like if it could be deaded, then I'd rather dead it because I don't really wanna go down there and go to war with these dudes because a lot of the other dudes I fuck with. And the dudes that we both fucked with was some of the dudes that came up and went upside his head, right? Yeah, we fuck with you, homie, but this is our little man from our hood, right? And you violated. So now we gonna show you how much we don't really fuck with you and we do really fuck with our man, right?
Was T-Lo one of them dudes?
I'm not sure, homie. Could have been. More than likely, most likely probably was because that was his little brother. So more than likely, T-Lo was there, but the other dudes that I knew for sure out of Weebo mouth from my recollection now told me that was there. He told me that was there and involved. I can't remember if he said T or not. So long story short, I gave him that, told him to chill. I said, yo, we got it. So just me and Hash. So I went and got Hash, and I told him what happened. And I was like, yo, I went and got him. I said, yo, homie, grab your joint. Like, you know what I mean? Matter of fact, grab 2 joints. You know what I mean? We're going to go down to Marcy, bro, and we're going to go holler at these dudes. And if it don't go right, then you already know what it is, homie, right? If we don't make it back, they not making it back either, even in their own joint, right? So me and Hash, just us two, marched down to Marcy to straighten it out, right? Because we need to understand it because we was looking at it like, all right, that was a 1-for-1. You know what I mean? He knocked him out. Y'all went upside his head with the pistols and all that. He didn't pull out pistols on him, so y'all kind of upped it a little bit with the pistols. So now we could up it with the pistols, right? Because that's how it go, right? It keeps upping, it keeps getting upped until it culminates, right? But we also had to prevail in cooler minds, which was myself, because internally I felt that my man was wrong, right? Publicly, I got a rod for him. Privately, yo, homie, you was out of pocket. You shouldn't have did that. I don't care how upset you got. Tah-Tah, even man, he could speak his piece. You shouldn't have put your hands on him. Privately. Publicly, they violated you. We got to go answer that. Me and Hash go down there. We go to Marcy. We right up in the kitchen right there, right? And we run into one of the dudes. So we chopping it up because the dude, one of the dudes that did it was our man that we fucked with, that road. And here's let me show you how the Most High works in mysterious ways, homie, and wards off a lot of situations that we don't even have no knowledge of, right? We went down there to straighten it out. However it took to get straightened out. If that entailed putting work in against dudes that we fucked with, then so be it. If they wasn't jacking what we was trying to say with respect to the homie and what was done, right? The particular dude that we ran into, this particular dude was a dude that was pivotal in saving my homie H life in a different situation where H and Hunt, which is Hash, little brother, was into some other situations and brawling with some dudes, and you know they was outnumbered and they was getting the business and all that. And this particular dude that I'm talking about was coming out of weed spot and looked and was like, yo, is that H? That's my man. And went to work, right? And the homie H caught the case behind that, temp murders and all that for the niggas that Son hit, and H held it down, right? And went to try, end up getting time for that, right? So what? Because the homie stepped up and saved him, right? So when we see him, he was one of the dudes, one of the main dudes. But I'm also aware of, damn, this dude saved my man life, homie, right? So now the approach to him is different than had we ran into some of the other dudes that was mentioned. So now just him, it's me and Hash right here on my right, and Son right there in front of me. And somebody else was with him. And we talking like, you know, man, homies, like, yo, you know what I mean? And his position was, yo, knowledge, man, Hash, yo, man, we don't want no problems with y'all, nothing like that. But you know, he wasn't supposed to do that to Tah-Tah, man. We both shouldn't hit Tah-Tah like that.
And at this time, Tah-Tah was still in the hospital?
Yeah, we didn't know Tah-Tah was in the hospital.
Let me get a little sip of that.
Right.
But yeah, we sipping that Douce, man. So you said,
So right, so listen, so now my thing was, pardon self. So mind you, homie, I told you, we didn't know Tah-Tah was in the hospital, right? He walked all the way back down to Marcy. We thought everything was cool. They prod might have been hurt or whatever, but we could have worked all that out, right? But when we polying with the homie in front of us, he right there in front of us, he was like, yo, man, we could have killed homie. I didn't want to kill him, right? And Knowledge B kind of stopped us. He said, but homie in the hospital, right? And he like a concussion or a coma or whatever, he almost didn't make it. He could have killed Son, right? And where that would have left us, right? So we, you know, we exchanging words, we going back and forth, we polying, trying to figure it out to get an understanding. And so here's the thing too, I want dudes to know, right? When you polying with dudes, right, about situations that are volatile, right? Always be mindful of your choice of words, homie, right? Because your choice of words are very important in those type of situations where tempers is flaring.
Profanity, all of that, you gotta be
dude's
careful.
energy is up, right? So the little homie was like, you know, we going back and forth. So the little homie was like, yo, well, you know, I mean, you know, we understand all that, but yo, you know, so what's up? We will want war? Triggers. You can't, those are triggers, right? So when he said that, Hash was like his body language tensed and his hand, I'm like, so I gave him the look, like we communicate without words. I looked and gave him the look in a, you know what I mean? Like, nah, right? Chill. Cause he was ready to reach and get crazy, right? He respected homie, but you don't use words like that. So I'm telling homie, I said, yo, homie, listen, if it was a situation where the homie wanted war, right? We wouldn't be talking, right? Because now I'm feeling like, right, wait, don't get too comfortable because we talking like men and it's a cool situation, right? Don't misread this, homie, right? War, if it was war, you think we would be talking? If it was war, heads would be on the platter. These things on our waist will be going off. I'm eyeing you. I don't really see nothing on you. You probably might not even be right. We right, 2 joints apiece. So we ready for war, right? But I'm like, yo, homie, you know, matter of fact, homie, like, don't worry about it. It ain't nothing, man. We gonna go. You said Tah-Tah home now or whatever. oh, whatever, we gonna go check on the homie, whatever. That didn't sit right with Hash. When we walking away from, the homie, Hash, like, son, you should have let me. I'm like, nah, son. Sometimes dudes just don't know, bro, right? Sometimes dudes just don't know. They should know, right? Playing in the street, certain things are triggers. We polying with you like men on some respectful shit, right? And you gonna say what Weibo want war? You can't. What you sound like when you said that, you separated him from us, right? If he want war, we want war, homie, right? So you can't. There's no distinction, no separation. So careful, right? But he probably felt the energy and he brought it down or whatever, and we left it the way we left it. And I told him, I said, yo, tell him the main dude, the older dude, whatever, that I fucked with. I said, yo, tell son, I said to holler at me, man. You know what I mean? Tell him I'm down here looking for him. Tell him I said to holler at me, right? So we went to Tah-Tah crib. Me and Hash went, knocked on his door. His mom's let us in. Whatever. He's like, yo, Smith, such. Sorry, I heard about, we here to see Tah. Went in the crib, in the room. He was laying down in the bed. Still a little fucked up. He was laying down in the bed. And Tah-Tah was such a solid dude, homie, that he was apologizing to us. And I'm like, yo, homie, you don't really have to apologize because y'all both was wrong, right? You was wrong for escalating it with your words in a hot situation. You should have knew better. You could have bit your tongue, said what you had to say, but said it respectfully. But you and Weibo, I don't know what y'all got, but y'all got up in each other's face. You know Weibo's the dead arm specialist, homie. Why would you challenge him like that, right? So you was out of pocket for that. He was out of pocket for putting his hands on you. The homies and them, they probably thought whatever, you wasn't gonna make it, whatever. They retaliated. So now that's why we here. So Tah-Tah, and these is all facts. Tah-Tah verified, homie. Everything I ever tell you is all facts, homie. No cap, no embellishment. Everything is all facts. I'm not trying to make me or my team look bigger or me and my team look smaller. I'm just telling a story and relaying the facts as they went down. Tah-Tah exact words was, yo, Knowledge, man, please don't let it go no further than this. I'm telling everybody on my side that we gonna dead it and leave it alone. Please tell Weibo I said I apologize, man. They shouldn't have hit him with them guns, whatever. I'm sorry, and we'll talk. You know what I mean? Eventually, but let's just leave it like that, right? That was solid. That's my little man. Now, I mean, I had mad love for son, still do to this day. So I said, all right, that's real shit. I respect it because Tah-Tah knew what it was. If Tah-Tah knew if myself and Hash, two of the main dudes out of Sumner, is coming in the projects to holler, he know how we play.
Y'all was gripped up though when y'all went in the crib?
No, we ain't gonna hold it, but we got two joints. I got two guns, Hash got two guns, but we not gonna grip up in his mom's crib. We don't got no problem with Tah-Tah. That's our man. But I'm explaining to him, like, because I'm older than him, so I'm explaining to him like a big brother, like, yo, you was out of pocket for your actions. He was out of pocket for his actions. What we doing, right? What we doing? So he wanted to leave it alone. So I went back up to went back up to the projects. I talked to Weibo, told Weibo what Tah-Tah said. Weibo understood. I gave him some spiel and some game. He understood, he respected it. He was man enough to say, all right, to avoid a major catastrophe or whatever, I'm gonna hold it down and I'm gonna leave it alone. We can leave it alone. I met up with the older dude, you know what I mean? And we hollered, we chopped it up. He told me, yo, Naj, I ain't wanna do that, homie. I know that's your little man. You know what I mean? I could have downed him. I wanted to, I should have, but I didn't because I knew that was your man and I didn't want the problems that I knew that was gonna be coming from y'all, right? But we gonna keep it a bean. We wanted to send a message to him to let him know that wasn't acceptable and we wasn't gonna hold that, right? All right, I get it. So we, all that shit was averted, right? The catastrophe with respect to that was averted. A lot of lessons, homie, was learned from that situation. And then, on the tail end of that, that was when everything was going crazy for us. And we, right after all of that, we all ended up going to prison anyway. But when we went to prison, on the surface, it was, you know what I mean, quelled and squashed or whatever. But a lot of little incidences happened after that, after I went to prison. You know what I mean? A lot of other dudes' stories, that'll be their stories to tell. A lot of shit happened between my team of dudes and dudes down in Marcy, a lot of crazy things. But for the most part, right? That night, Knowledge B saved Weibo life. That same night, prior to Knowledge B saving Weibo life, that night, I saved Dehaven, Tah-Tah, Jay-Z, Sean, whatever, and Jazo life. Because if Knowledge would have downed them, everybody had to go. In for a penny, in for a buck, in small, in for it all, right? So because, you know, cooler heads or smarter heads prevailed, major catastrophes was averted. I don't look for nothing. You know what I mean? I never seen Dehaven again after that situation. Never in life, aside from seeing him on the series is on YouTube. Me and that man never spoke after that, right? So I never got his spiel on how he felt or whatever. But I respected the fact that he left it alone, and we left it alone, and that was that. And dudes went on to respectively, you know, do their things, however they did it, and live their lives, right? And so the crazy thing, right? I told you about my love for Tah-Tah, and you heard about when I talked about the HDM story about my love for T-Lo and how his death affected me and all them things, right? I went up north. I told you when I came home, Tracy Morgan and Tah-Tah them was sending messages to my brother like, yo, heard Knowledge home, tell me we want to see him. And I told you I went to Brooklyn specifically to see Tah-Tah and Tracy Morgan because they was looking for me. I saw Tah-Tah on Troop Avenue. You know what I mean? This is like in 96, 97, he was pushing all white, a snow white Lexus SC, I think it was the SC 300, whatever it was, coupe, looking clean. You know what I mean? Now, mind you, this is Jay's, you know, Sean is now Jay-Z. He's rapping, and Tah-Tah's affiliate with him, and they, you know, they on the come up, doing their thing. I see my man, Todd, who's now Sauce Money. When I was up north, remember I told you stories about how I seen Tracy Morgan on TV, like, oh shit, you know, that's my man, I saved his life, Tracy Morgan. Same way I saw Jay-Z and Dehaven and Jazo and Sauce Money on the big screen doing their rap. I'm telling you, we grew up together. You know, we had a little situation, but those are my peoples. They from the hood. I'm happy for them, right? I'm proud. You know how hard it is for dudes from where we from, homie, to make it? To even get an inkling of close to making it. We come from suffrage, homie. We don't get there for the most part. On a majority tip, there might be a few standouts that do their thing or whatever, but on a majority tip, we struggle for the remainder of our lives, and we stuck in wherever we be stuck at because we don't know better. So if you don't know better, you can't do better. But anyway, I was proud to see them dudes doing their thing. I'm not a hater, I was proud. I saw Tah-Tah. I told you in that story, me and Tah-Tah talked. What I didn't tell you was that we talked about everything. And he welcomed me home, and he was like, yo, Nas, I heard you got a little rap label, whatever. I told you I started the P9 Productions thing with our born and all them, Weez and the Cat. Tah-Tah heard about it. He like, yo, I heard you got a music joint, whatever. You know what I mean? If you need, and this was the olive branch he extended to me. Yo, if you need any help, you need any assistance with anything, you know, we doing our thing, holla at me. I'm like, cool.
Ourselves, shout out to Mecca Dawn, Sugar Hill, and shout out to our boy Mount Vernon. 7 Up, the story is 7 Up coming soon.
Right, 7 Up, y'all know what it is. Rain God.
Most legendary rap group in New York State prisons history.
Right, Tah-Tah. So he extended his hand. I appreciated it, let him know I appreciated it. The love was still there. It was genuine, I felt it. The grip was strong, the hug was tight, the energy was right. That was we was good, right? After all them years. You you know, I asked him about, I said, yo, so, I said, yeah, we talk. I said, yo, what's up with, I said, what's up with Jay? How Jay doing? He good? What's up with him? Tell him I send my regards. So when I did that, right, when I said that, you got to be a street dude to catch it, right? The moment, the slightest, ever so slightest hesitation and the ever slightest shift in the eye, where the eye contact go from looking at you to looking off in space, and you could literally see a light bulb above somebody's head, and then they realize that you watch them, they get it together. It's instantaneous, right? But if you are an alert individual like I am, you catch it. I seen it. I don't know what it meant. It could have meant so many different things, right? But it was caution, right? That's why I took it on his part when I mentioned Jay, because we never mentioned Jay. We was just talking about us and his brother and, you know what I mean, our relationship, things of that manner, and he extended his olive branch. So my way of extending back the olive branch was inquiring about Jay, seeing if he, you know,
to let him know that it ain't no hard feelings, it ain't none of that. Niggas don't look at something no certain way. That's water under the bridge, back in the day shit. But you respect his come up and you proud of him.
I love the way you summed that up beautifully, homie. Right? But the hesitancy and all that, then he recovered. No, he good. So in my mind, I'm like, okay.
Jay still feel a certain
right. I said, okay, it might still be something there. This was, I told you I came home in 9/6. So I didn't come back down to the hood till like maybe around 9/7, right? Hove album, Reasonable Doubt, came out in 9/6, right?
I think 9/6.
Yeah, 9/6, right? 9/7. Okay, back up. While we in prison, right, doing the bid, told you we starting to be on the house, whatever, the homie Knowledge B gets murdered. He got killed in 91, right? So different stories, whatever. So he gets killed in 91. I come home 9/6 on the, you know, still getting the gist of everything that transpired with that situation.
Where you heard that son got murdered?
If he got murdered at 9/1, I was still in Southport. I was in Southport Boston. Remember I told you in 1990, I caught the situation in Comstock. That's when I was rapping Free King Africa. Who do you think I am? Yo, shout out to the homie Free King Africa. If you still alive, wherever you are, homie, you inspired me to get on some rap shit on the balcony.
If you never saw that episode, make sure you go check that episode, Black Knowledge, Grape Street Crips. Put that in, it'll pop up. That's a crazy story.
I got all the good stories and she don't want to miss it.
All right.
So yeah, you were saying that, you know, just from that one little look from Tah-Tah, it let you know some things. Or it made you feel a certain kind of way with that little look.
Right. I peeped the hesitancy and the caution, right? So I get it. You know what I mean? You know, I guess once, you know.
Now, how many years had gone past since this happened?
This happened in, all this happened in 86, and 86 going into 87. So this is 97, 10 years.
That's not a long time
That's for
dudes for feelings to go completely away.
All right, so let's talk about that then, right? So now I peeped it, so I fell back or whatever. I said, yo, let the homie know. I see his move. I see it. I send my regards. I send my love. You know what I mean? I like the movement. And tell, you know, Sauce, because that was my man. Tell Sauce, I said, what's up? I send my love. I like his flow and all that. Keep doing what he's doing. I'm loving it. You know what I mean? I'm loving it. Jaz-o, all of them. I was loving the whole movement.
Hard
right?
self. Shout out to my cousin Life that used to mess with Sauce Money. So I was always pushing Sauce Money. You heard my cousin Life from Williamsburg. Yeah, my fault.
Yeah, Sauce Money definitely had a flow. Right, you know what I mean? Went from my boy Todd on the basketball with the handles and all that to Sauce Money with the flows and all that. Yeah, shout out to the homie Sauce, man. You already know what it is, homie. I always tell you, we always gonna be family regardless of what, so I'm around. So I told you I peeped the hesitancy or whatever, but I brushed it off, you know, cool, you gotta protect the bag. Hove is the bag. He's Jay-Z now. He's Hove. He's the bag now. So cool. All right. So now this is 9/7, right? I told you Hove dropped Reasonable Doubt, to my recollection, in 9/6. It was fire. I loved it. I was loving everything about it. 9/7, 7, he dropped Where I'm From, right? So the Where I'm From joint was the, where he said, cough up a lung, where I'm from, Marcy's son, ain't nothing nice, right? That was the hook. And then he had a couple of lines in there where he said, so they ran up to Tompkins and sought them other dudes to trust. I don't know what the fuck them bitches thought. Them niggas is foul just like us, right? So I guess that was a reference to the girls from Marcy running up to holler at the Tompkins dudes, thinking that the Tompkins dudes are different than the Marcy dudes. But in all reality, as Jay was saying, he's Jay-Z now, that the Tompkins dudes was just like them, right? I heard that, right? So I didn't think nothing of it, right? I heard it, but I didn't think nothing of it. It was a dope song. Where I'm From is a dope song, right? I was like, oh, that shit fire, the beat knocking, shit crazy, right? Now I told you, this is 9/7. I'm just really getting back into the hood. This is 1 year before the Sumner Tompkins beef started. Sumner Tompkins beef started in 9/8. It's 9/7. Everything's still love, right? Coming down, checking up on everybody, letting everybody know I'm home, getting the love from the community, from the peoples again. The Marcy dudes, Tompkins dudes, Sumner dudes, some of the Bushwick dudes, Brownsville, Fort Greene, getting the love. I'm home, right? Dudes are showing love. Everything is love. Remember I told you the homie that used to run with us back in the days in the 80s, his name was Joe. He was from Bushwick Projects. And I told you that was Knowledge B, man. I told you I met Joe the same time, really, that I met Knowledge B when they came through on the bikes, right? And stepped to us. And you said Knowledge B was an extraordinary dude to come approach us and be like, yo, I ain't trying to disrespect y'all, whatever, showing y'all love. We riding these bikes through y'all projects. We know y'all get busy. We want to fuck with y'all, whatever, right? Joe, that was Knowledge B's best friend, I guess, his right-hand man. I finally runs into Joe, right, after all these years, and I think maybe 9/7, right, around that time, 9/8, when that song comes out. So now I get a different story and a different vibe and a different energy from the homie Joe, right? And it made me, I don't know how I felt, homie. I can't say I felt away. I can't say I didn't feel away because so much time had passed, right? So what happened was, I told you the homie Knowledge B got killed in 9/1, right? However that situation played out, lost a lot of love in the hood, doing a lot of different things. In Tompkins, right. Right next to the building where he grew up at. He grew up in 220, whatever. The situation with him happened in front of 212, which is the next building. I told you that lane is in between 212 and 220. 220, Knowledge B grandmother, building is where he grew up at. 212, shootout, whatever happened, his situation happened, right? So according to Joe and the homies, right, Knowledge B, when he got hit up, he was in the hospital fighting. He was living for a while, almost like Tupac. But Pac got hit up all them times, where he lived for 7 days before he succumbed to his injuries. Same situation like Knowledge B. Knowledge B was a fighter, right? He was fighting, I guess, for his life. And in my mind, when I heard the story, all I was thinking about from the dude that I knew and remembered was he probably was fighting so hard because all in his mind was revenge, right? If he would have pulled through, all he probably was thinking about was murder, right? Murdering the dudes that ultimately murdered him. But back to the sinister part and connecting it, or it might not be connected, but that's for that man to say his lyrics, you know what I mean? But from what I got, the homie Joe was like, yo, Nas, man, you remember the situation with all of y'all with Jay-Z and Tah-Tah and all that back in the day? I was like, yeah, what's up? I remember. He was like, yo, Knowledge B died from, because he kept coughing and he coughed up his lung. So I was like, my head snapped back a couple times, right? Because I'm listening, but it shocked me, right? And the gravity of what he's saying is hitting me right there in the moment, right? So it's a lot going through my mind. I'm an intelligent dude. So first of all, in my mind, one part of my mind is like, wait, hold on. I don't think that's medically possible to cough up a lung, right? How did you cough up a lung? Is that even possible, right? But on the other side, I was like, wait, cough up a lung? Where I'm from, Marcy, son, ain't nothing nice. So they ran up to Tompkins and sought them other dudes to trust. I don't know what the fuck they thought them niggas is foul just like us. Right? You see where I'm going with this, homie? I'm like, hold on. Right? If we left that alone, right? And dudes left that where it was, right? Then is this a shot, homie? Right? Is this a shot? Because if, according to the street legend and everybody that was associated with it at the time, my homie, you know, before we was on the out, he died from coughing up a lung. My homie was directly involved in a situation regarding this man years ago. My homie was the main catalyst in that situation that pushed it over the edge that almost cost 4 dudes their lives that night, right? It would be suffice or fair to surmise that he might have held some animosity, right? And put that in lyrical form because he telling his life story through his lyrics, right? And what made me think that way is because I learned, right, while in prison, right, that unless you speak to the direct parties involved in a situation, you can't really say if it's dead or not, right? Me and you, right, can't get in the beef with Joe and Dave, right? And I speak for you, right? Let's say Joe and Dave violated and you don't feel, you feel violated, but I speak for you and say, yo, we gonna dead it, but you never speak to Joe or Dave. So it might be cool from my perspective, but I don't know what type of animosities you holding, you know what I mean? And hiding, you know what I mean, under the surface, right? You could have some animosities, right? Because from my recollection of that whole situation, I told you I never saw Dehaven again. So Dehaven and me never spoke. So I don't know what his energy is like regarding his personal feelings. I ascertained them when I watched his Marcy Maids and all of the interviews he did. And when he talked about the situation when Jay-Z got robbed and when he came up and how he knew us. And, you know, shout out to the homie Dehaven too. When he did that, he never said nobody's names, right? In all of them years, he never said who he was talking about when he told that story. I knew he was talking about me because I was there, right? I was a main figure in that situation. So I knew who he was talking about directly, right? When he said, and I respected his opinion. He said, yo, he took the L because he could have went back his own words and got shooters and came back to straighten it out or attempt to straighten it out. But, you know, he knew those was killers, right? You know, so if you're not willing to die or kill, then sometimes I guess it's best to leave situations alone, right? In those type of situations, homie. But so that bothered me, right? And the reason it bothered me is because when I thought back, I said, damn, I don't recall any situations where anybody said they spoke to Hov to get his take on it and to see how he felt about it. Because he was the one that suffered the violations in terms of getting robbed, right? And he was the one that suffered the violation in terms of the beratement at the hands of Knowledge B when he came back with the other homies to try to see if he could get his shit back, right? So just because Dehaven said he held that and took the L because he saw it a particular way, we don't know how, nobody knows how Hov saw it because he never spoke about it.
Yeah, nobody ain't never really gonna feel good about being robbed. It take 30 years for a dude to say, all right, man, I ain't worried about it. the average dude, if you from Brooklyn and you a real dude, you know, in Brooklyn, robbery is very disrespectful.
Very.
In other boroughs, it may not be taken so seriously. But in Brooklyn, it's like if you get robbed, that shit is a hard pill to swallow, bro.
Tell them why, homie.
Because in Brooklyn, basically, man, it's like if you a super real nigga or a gangster, ain't nobody robbing you.
Facts.
So if you get robbed, people feel it's gonna give you the feeling like niggas don't think I'm a gangster.
So it forces your hand to probably have to do something.
Facts. Cause it's hard to get robbed and just, you know, be a regular dude in the hood after that. Dudes is always gonna have that in the back of their head. Yo, but dudes robbed you and took your shit. Now, in defense of Jay-Z.
How tough are you really?
Yeah, you know, this was, we talking all the way back in 86. Dudes was young. You feel what I'm saying? And it's like dudes are still learning the rules of the streets as they go along. You feel what I'm saying? So I would have probably said, I mean, you know, I'm going to be tight, bro. Somebody robbed me, I'm going to be tight. Period. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm going to, like you said, I'm going to want a pound of flesh and a liter of blood. You understand what I'm saying?
Blood, facts.
So it takes a big man to say, this shit ain't worth my life for my freedom.
Dehaven said that.
Fucking coat.
Dehaven was a big man who did that.
I mean, Dehaven is a good dude, man. Shout out to Dehaven. If you ain't see that interview I did with Dehaven, make sure you go watch that because it's exclusive. And, you know, in defense, you know, also with the Marcy song, when I heard that cough up a lung where I'm from, I just took it as Jay-Z saying, we smoke heavy dank down here. You gonna cough your lung up smoking heavy dank down here, but, you know, I never heard about that. Knowledge be deaf. So
you never heard about the story prior to. You never heard about Jay-Z getting robbed or whatever, until Dehaven said it. And so let me say something too, right? Let me clear something up. In the beginning, I made a difference between Sean, right? I was saying Sean, and then later on he became Jay-Z. So I made sure to distinguish between the two, right? And the reason I did it is because when I came home, and dudes that knew about the story would come to me. It's like, yo, some of my homies from Marcy too be like, yo, homie, didn't you rob Jay-Z before? Because Jay-Z got a song on 1-800-HUSTLER talking about he ain't never been robbed in his life, whatever. So I would always correct dudes. No, I didn't rob Jay-Z. I would leave it like that. I didn't rob him. Got the wrong knowledge, homie. I didn't do that, right? And left it at that. No reason to explain to dudes. I don't do that. I didn't do it. That's it, right? But my thing is this: if Hov, right, felt a particular way about that situation and he never expressed it, right, because he never got a chance to speak to us because he wasn't in the loop of the gangsters and the killers like that. He might have hung with Tah-Tah, whatever, but amongst the dudes that I knew in Marcy that was putting in the pain and that was hitters, I never saw him with them. So I don't know what his relationship was with dudes down there. So again, I don't know how he felt about that whole situation. One. Two, we all know how he's metaphorically gifted, and he would say punchlines that dudes wouldn't get until years later, right? So I can't say whether or not when he said cough up a lung, that was a reference to the same dude that robbed him, right? And this is his way of getting back at him, right? Cough up a lung, where I'm from, Marcy, son, ain't nothing nice. Yeah, you got me back then, but look at you now. You coughed up a lung and you dead, and I'm still here doing my thing, right? So that was heavy for me, right? And that bothered me because, like I said, I thought it was left alone. So when you leave things alone, you leave them alone, homie. You don't throw, those are shots. But, you know, some dudes think they smarter than the average bear, and they be smart, think they smarter than everybody else, and think that, you know what I mean, nobody would catch it. Or maybe motherfuckers feel like I'm him now. I'm in power now, right? Try me now. I said it. What's up, right? So it's so many ways to take that. You dig, homie? So I had to figure out my position and how I felt about it and where I wanted to go with it and where I was willing to go with it, right?
Well, what do they mean he coughed up a lung? He was coughing so much, his lung tissue started.
Right. So, homie, I actually Googled it. I Googled, can you cough up a lung? Can you die from coughing up a lung, right? And from my research on it, you can't physically cough up your actual lung, but maybe portions of your lung you can cough up, or a portion of it, your lung can get shifted and moving from you coughing so much. But here's the thing. We from descendants of Africa, homie, and we black. And you know your people, because you black. Our people, homie, we take shit and run with it without it actually being factual basis, right? It's a rumor, and that rumor will grow legs and spread wings. Oh, Nas B died from coughing up a lung. Right? Wait, is that me? Wait, is that medically possible? When I heard, you know what I mean? I'm thinking, when Joe told me that, I'm like, wait, is that medically possible? But wait, if it is medically possible, is homie talking about my man? And then is he talking about my man after he's dead? And right? So, right, it's so many ways to look at it. But wait, why didn't you say all that when he was alive? And why didn't you, right? So I don't know, right? So I can't put too much energy to it because nobody never spoke to homie to really get to his version of it, right? But that's the interesting side of it all for me, right? So, right, after that conversation with Joe, mentally, I kind of rescinded my olive branch, right? I told you, Tah-Tah extended an olive branch when he was like, yo, if you ever need anything and it's music, da-da-da-da-da. And then I extended my olive branch, yo, what's up with Jay? Tell him, you know what I mean, the music, whatever. But when I got that information, right, the way I rescinded my olive branch was that I never hollered at Tah-Tah again, right? That's my man. We came up, right? It's the homie. He extended his hand. Knowledge, if you ever need any assistance in this, whatever, holler at me, I got you. But I never did because of that moment's hesitancy when I asked him about Hove, right? And the energy that I got, and then my homie telling me this. So I'm like, damn. So the mind is an interesting vessel, homie, when it starts playing tricks and doing things. So I said, yo, homie, you know, he's no longer here, so it don't make sense to, you know what I mean, to even pursue it, even in the conversation aspect. And plus, we was on the outs with each other, right? Those are different stories. We ain't get to that yet, right? We was on the outs, but still, we talking before we was on the outs. We were still on the ends, right? So the way I play, you come at my homies, my peoples, especially if they not around, I'ma take that, right? You got beef with my mans, and my mans is not here, they can't reach whatever, I'ma step up and take the beef, right? He not here to get with you, don't worry about it, I'll get with you for him, right? That's how we played. But because of so much happening, and we went from here to here, it was like, yo, homie, you gotta make a decision on how, you know, what's up, how you feel, what you want to do. And you know, so at the end of the day, I said, you know what, man? It is what it is.
Whether it was worth your life and freedom to ride for a dude that you even had a problem with down the line.
That's a fact, homie. That's a fact, homie. And those be hard decisions, right, to make when you're a solid dude. Because I consider myself to be a solid dude, homie. I don't do funny style stuff. I don't do snake style stuff. I keep it real with dudes. I put my life on the line. I extend myself. You know what I mean? And I try to remain solid, right? All the way around, because, you know, we only get one lifetime, right? So if I'm living my life a certain way and I'm trying to go out off this planet and be revered and remembered as a solid stand-up dude all the way around, then I have to be mindful of everything that I do throughout my life when I'm cognizant of things, to make sure that I don't falter and F up that relationship or that reputation that I'm building, homie. A lot of dudes don't see it that way, and they don't carry it that way. Another subject topic, but we talking about black knowledge here, homie. So I'm giving you insights into how I think and why I think the way I think and how I move and why I move the way I move. I'm on principles, homie. At all times, I'm on business, homie. Standing on it. Told you, anything that come out my mouth, I'ma stand on it, homie. I stand on everything I say because that's just the way that I came up from the OGs, the way they taught me, right? And that's how I blossomed. And if it ain't broke, don't try and fix it now. I'm way too old to be trying to change my ways and fix anything about myself now. It's never too late, but I'm saying I'm content with who I am, homie, and where I am and how I'm viewed amongst the people, homie, right? The people that I consider people, right? Because, you know, reputation and perception and how I'm perceived means a lot to me, which is why I put so much into what I give out, right? And I try to make sure, for the most part, it's positive so I can get that positive back. So I made the decision, I probably ain't gonna never see him again. He not in the hood, I mean, dudes is findable. I could have reached out to really press the issue. Yo, Tyler, let me tell Hov I want to, let me sit down and speak. But right, what would that have done, right? If he'd have told me, yeah, homie, I felt the way about that. So cough up a lung, I was talking about that dude, right? Because I felt the way about that. So what was I supposed to say to that, right? What was my response supposed to be to all of that after all these years? Leave that alone, right? Listen, homie, it's water under the bridge, man. We passed that. Dudes is aspiring and have goals that they trying to achieve that are bigger than all that, right? The 80s, homie. To live through that and to be here right now with you in my right state of mind, all my faculties about me still working and in order and still having the respect and the love from the peoples. When I came up, I learned in Sumner from watching the dude I said was named Shaheed, barking them dudes, don't come through Sumner, walking like you tough and all that. I was all of 7, 8 years old, homie. Bring it to now, I'm still that same dude, refined and polished with a better and a clear and concise understanding about this life shit, homie. So I'm gonna move always accordingly. I'm never gonna move disaccordingly. I'm always gonna move accordingly because it's entrenched in me, homie. I don't know nothing else. I can't be nobody else. I don't know how. I only know how to be me, homie. Black knowledge. I only know how to do the things that I do for the reasons that I do them based upon my experiences and what I learned from those experiences, homie. Anything other than that, man, it don't make sense to me. So, if that song was pertaining to the homie, then it is what it is, right? It is what it is, homie. It is what it is, homie.
We here with Black Knowledge, the big homie of the big homies. Make sure y'all check out the Sumner series because every episode is fire. And it gives a backstory to all these individuals that's mentioned in this story. So make sure you go check out the Sumner series, all 11 episodes, 12 episodes actually, I think. Make sure you check that new episode, Black Knowledge, Beef with Crooked Cops in Brooklyn. That shit is a movie. Speaking of movies, directors, producers, Hollywood producers and movie makers out there, the bottom line is we got stories that are TV and movie worthy. You understand? This man right here is sitting on an archive of Brooklyn crime stories. Holla at us, man. Fuck all of that corny shit where niggas is watching the channel and hearing all these great stories and getting inspired to do films and TV, but they not hollering at the direct plugs. We the direct plugs when it comes to this TV and film shit. You heard? Brooklyn Legacy, the series, could very well be the next big series like The Wire, but in Brooklyn. You feel me? Hazen Street, the Rikers Island series could very well be the greatest series you ever saw on television because Rikers Island got a lot of history, bro. The world's most famous jail. So shout out to Black Knowledge. Shout out to the whole Sumner, the whole Marcy, the whole Tompkins. Shout out to Jay-Z. You feel what I'm saying? Shout out to Dehaven and everybody else that we mentioned in this story. We'll be back with more. That next time we sit down, we gonna be talking about the Brooklyn and Schenectady beef, upstate New York action. You heard? Then we gonna do that Sumner and Tompkins beef. So we got a lot more shit coming. We doing this sit down podcast. It's lights out for all y'all niggas. I'm letting it be known. I'm about to take over this shit. You heard? But shout out to the bro Black Knowledge, one of the greatest storytellers on the channel. I love working with Black Knowledge because he's just a poet with this crime story shit. You heard? Everybody can't give it up like this bro give it up. This dude is meant to be. This dude's stories is meant to be movies. You heard? So y'all get at us, man. Genpop TV, we in the building. Subscribe to this channel. Hit that like button on this. Share this to Facebook because we need that algorithm popping. And we'll be back at y'all. And that's a whole fact. Heard?
Hold on. Before you finish and before I end them, holla at your boy Vlad and all that, homie.
Oh, yeah. Yo, listen, man. If you want that real street story shit, stories you never heard in your life, you come over here to the St. Laz channel, Genpop TV. Shout out to Saigon and Vlad TV, but they ain't doing it like we doing it over here on Genpop TV.
Shout out to the guys, Saigon, 7-Up. You already know what it is, homie.
That's a fact. Shout out to the bro Rob Bill. Shout out to the whole Brownsville, the whole Howard. Now I mean the whole Brooklyn, man. We working.
That's a fact, man. Shout out, much love, man. Always, first and foremost, man, to my homies, Sumner Projects, man. Sumner Projects is the projects that I came up in, man, that helped me develop my character, man. And I came across so many different individuals, not just the street dudes, the older ladies, the people that molded me and shaped me, the people that used to look after me and run and snitch to my moms when I was out there doing crazy stuff, man. Shout out to all those people, man. Y'all know how we doing Sumner, man. In Sumner, we always had the same, bro. It's Sumner Love. We had our own little song called Sumner Love. And every time we ran up in other dudes' situations, we would sing our little Sumner Love anthem, man. So shout out to my homies in Sumner, man.
How that Sumner Love?
I mean, it's been so long. It was something but Sumner Love with guns and all that. It was crazy, homie. But that was back in the 80s. I don't remember it all. But maybe some of the homies from back then can remember, man. Shout out to all my dudes and some of the men that are still alive, man. Keep yourself relevant, man, and keep aspiring towards your goals, man. Shout out to all my homies in Tompkins, my OGs that raised me. Shout out to the little dudes that, you know what I mean, that we had to go to war with or whatever, that stood tall and didn't tell, man. When I talk about y'all, I'm gonna make sure y'all dudes get y'all flowers, man, because you know, y'all did what y'all did. Y'all did y'all thing. You know, y'all bought the animal out of me and made me see if I still had it. Man, shout out to y'all dudes that lived through all that, man, and went up against the big homie and lived to tell your war stories about it. Hopefully, I get to hear some of y'all stories as opposed to me just being up here telling these stories, man. Shout out to all my homies in Marcy, man. Much love to the homies in Marcy, man. From the OGs that watched me come up, that didn't like me back in the days because, you know, we was reckless and we was running around violating and all that, to that when they see me now, they respect me, the man that I am today, and know that all that is water under the bridge, man. Shout out to all those Marcy dudes, man. Much love to y'all, man. I always had love for y'all dudes, man. Shout out to my Fort Greene dudes, my Brownsville dudes. And when we get to this Schenectady shit, homie, shout out to them dudes in Schenectady, man, that was taking them shots and holding it down like a G and you know, trying to do their thing. And definitely shout out to those murder mommies. Y'all know who y'all was. Shout out to those SOS dudes, straight out of Schenectady. Y'all know who y'all was.